No Dwindle, no Dwindle, no Dwindle. Hello, this is Mr. C of Iroko Critic, and welcome to Nollywood Film Club podcast, where a bunch of people who is talking a bunch of things about a bunch of films. All right, episode something. I've lost track. 7, maybe. Mm. But this was a fun conversation. Most of them are, to be fair. This one has is quite long. This is the beginning of the long conversations. You can see I'm getting used to or more accustomed, more friendly, and more affable with the regular Nollywood Film Club contributors, as you can be. By the way, just follow us on Rocco Critic on Twitter. But yes, maybe that's what's causing the conversations to get longer. But they're always fun. This does have a short good section, which all of the time stamps for all of the different sections in the description of the podcast. Um, but yeah, what to look out for? I think Intentions makes a return, and it has been banned by now, but it's a recurring theme for Nollywood discussions. But I do hope you enjoy Nollywood Film Club discussing Dwindle.
All right, Dwindle. What are the things that you liked? Vanessa, do you want to start us off?
Hey God, and I was hoping it wouldn't be me.
Okay, all right. I don't want to take anybody's one. No,
I will start. It's not like I take anybody what good.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Good. This is gonna take a lot out of me, honestly. I don't have anything off of the top of my head that I think was good about this film. Um, was nice to see Bisola.
what's about the bottom of your head?
Oh, it's not funny.
Bars.
For your mind. Bisola was nice to see, I guess. She looked good. What again? Tokpe Olowo Niyo. I can't remember. I don't know how to pronounce her surname. This isn't necessarily a good. This is just like I just want to say that I need Nollywood to start putting my babe as more than these background supporting characters. But then again, I guess we're seeing her face in a bunch of stuff, so there's that. So booked and busy, I guess.
Okay.
Love that for her. If you cannot tell, I'm trying to pull stuff straight out of my ass. What's a good? Ooh, the actress who played Black Shadow's mom. Great to see her in a feature film. We love to see it. The last time I saw her was on Africa Magic's Riona. No? Yes, Africa Magic's Riona, and did I see her in Ajoche? No, but I think she was definitely in Africa Magic's one of the original TV series, the 260 episode one, on Riona. And I really liked her performance in that one, and I was hoping to see her in more stuff. So it was a personal good for me to see her in this, even though she spent the whole how many couple minutes that she was on screen just staring at us, but also booked, which is a great thing. Love to see it. I was just really happy to see her on screen. I want to see her more on screen. We'll get to what I think about the role that she was given to play in this later on. But yeah, another good. I'm giving myself a headache trying to come up with this good. Oh, see. I'm gonna do one of Mr. C's favorite lines, even though I don't believe it. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I'm trying to regurgitate what you are saying.
Oh God.
I can see the intention.
Oh God, I don't like.
I can see the intention,
Alright.
and that's why I'm going to leave it at.
I'm gonna explain this. Like I have banned I can see the intention from Nollywood
But I
things,
can
like,
see the intention.
because like too many people use it, and I hate you for using
But
it.
we can see the intention now.
I was going to use it.
Just see your life outside. After you banned it, you were going to use it.
And
Please,
now
I can see
because
the intention,
Because
and
it's
that's
not
where
a
me I
democracy.
finish for today.
all right,
Dictatorship.
okay, all right, all right, okay. Mel, some of the things you enjoyed about Dwindle, please.
Hi.
Hello.
I don't have a lot to say, honestly, but picking back off of Vanessa's point about the actress, I really liked the character. Mad Max called her Ashoki bad bitch, and honestly, that's how I'm thinking of her forever and ever. That's a character I would love to see a movie built around. Don't say anything, Mama. Just give it to us like that. Um, And honestly, I forgive her for rising up from the dead. What can you do? Sometimes you just have to wake up, you know? Um, what else did I like? I like that. I think what I really like is that the movie tells you what it is from the very beginning. From the very, very first scene, there was nothing about the movie that said, take me seriously. And so I didn't take it seriously. And so I wasn't frustrated. I wasn't disappointed. Just whatever it is you're giving me, I feel like you've already told me to expect it. So let's go. But a final thing would be that I thought there was a measure of characterization that was consistent. Who Bisola's character is versus who Funke's character was, who Shaggy's character was versus who JK's character was. Like there was a level of there was some form of characterization going on, and it was consistent. Bisola's character, that is not being able to run, was something that kept being called back. So I didn't mind that at all. I thought that it had some very nice shots of roads. So they were very beautiful aesthetically to me. But I think that honestly, that's all that I can even just come up with.
Hey, that's not a walk in the park. That's all right. I did think our I don't know what her name is, and I can't be calling her a should be bad bitch. I don't know what her name is. Apologies, but
Ashoki, not Ashoki.
oh, Ashok. Okay, sorry. Okay, sorry. That's good. But I did think she did so much with very little dialogue. Actually,
Yeah, actually,
she was very good. And I mean, I think I'll fight you on the characterization of a couple of the people you mentioned there, but certainly Brother Shaggy, I guess, was consistent. I guess he can. I guess is being consistent is the way you can phrase that. Sure. All right, but yeah, thanks, Mel. Cynthia, tell us some of the things you loved about Dwindle, and you can't wait to share with us.
Why did you use love for me?
I'm just going through the good now. I thought you love. It's possible you love. No, you don't love it.
The good, Cynthia, give us the good. Thank you.
Okay, so what I like about the Dwindle, first of all, I think I liked the beginning where they showed the landscape of Dakawa. For some reason, I've started liking to see mountains because I've gone on to hiking. So when I see mountains, I'm always happy. So that first poly edited Photoshop picture of the mountain with the Dakawa state looks interesting, and I was like, okay. Then I also like Bisola's playfulness. She had a beautiful smile. She was super hot in that green gown. And I mean, like, a smile in the car with the policeman, I felt the, should I say, seductiveness or whatever they were trying to do. Then, as everyone has said, I like the Ashoke woman. I just like her mood, her poise, her stance. I really, really do like her. Then the first 10 minutes of the movie, yeah, I could tell it's a comedy, but I also felt it looked interesting. It looked like they had something. Even though Mel said from the beginning she felt it was bad, that first 10 minutes I laughed.
Huh?
I
She didn't say it was bad though. She said it's
we should not take
executing
it
well.
seriously,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So for the first 10 minutes, I actually laughed. I was like, okay, maybe the comedy will work. Maybe the comedy will work. Then I also think Tope Olowoniyon, she looked beautiful. And finally, um which might not be a like or which could also be a like. I also think that because we hardly see it, I think that the movie title mirrored what we were expecting. Like you hardly see a movie title that tells you exactly what the movie is all about. So I know in English, I don't know what other meaning dwindle might mean. I know in English, dwindle means to like to reduce in size. And if you watch the movie, you could tell that the quality kept on reducing to the ending. So the movie title mirroring what we're going to see in the movie was also something I'll give them kudos to. Although I don't know what dwindle might mean when they named the movie Dwindle.
Oh, wow. That's the strange way to frame a good, but okay. Wow. This. Okay. So
Moving on.
no, just to echo a couple of things. I can't remember any. All right. Let's just move on. Yeah. All right. Mariah, could you tell us some of the things you enjoyed so much about it?
Yeah, so
I liked the ending. Um, I thought the wedding scene was cute. Um, I don't know, because the girlfriend, she was long suffering. I pitied her. Pity is the word I'm choosing because from the beginning I really wanted something better for her. So you know, collecting the money by the end and then having the cute little wedding, I thought, oh, that's a nice outfit. They're using some Igbo, some Yoruba. That's cute. Um, did I want her to marry him? No, but it's a nice wedding, so I appreciate that. Um, the police women, Bisola and Funke. I'm sorry, from the beginning, when I saw their outfits, my mind just went to police recruit. I see Funke, I think, okay, it's about to be foolishness. It's about to be they're going to be bumbling, but the police were very competent, and I liked that throughout the film they were really clever about things. Um, and by the end, they were able to, catch Black Shadow despite the sexism and incompetence and corruption from their supporting officers and the chief. So I thought that was good. Yeah, Jibola Dabo. Maybe some people don't like him always playing the chief, but to me, that's a black king right there. I like seeing him in things. So that's a good for me, even if his role wasn't making. Hmm, yeah, it was nice for him to be there. Let me just say that. Um, I really liked the way the colors changed when the belly dancer was seducing the governor, played by Jibola Dabo. I thought, okay, uh, it's done quite nicely, and I know why it's being used. Um, I thought it was giving kind of a psychedelic effect. The shock was definitely there after she blew the powder in his face. So I thought it was, kind of distracting us, leading us to believe it was just, a good time. And then, you see Mama Black Shadow show up. So I thought it was well done. Because if it were poorly done, it would have been distracting and taken away from the shock factor.
Okay, no, yeah, I remember that scene. It was things happened, and the belly dancing was actually good. I thought, can I say, because I put myself in the governor's position, and I have to say, I think I would have been entertained myself. It seems like they actually got belly dancers for this. If I could take that and move it like the point Mariah said, and those were, yeah, I know, like their faces were covered up, so I guess it's yeah, but yeah, good belly dancing, good stuff. All right, Aika, do you want to tell us the things you liked about Dwindle?
The camera was nice. The camera was nice. There were moments that I laughed. It's a mid film. Like, there's nothing too outrageous about it. So it was okay. It's like within the sort of genre that it was okay. It wasn't too crazy. I mean, there are a lot of things I can say. The governor's acting, I like the governor. The governor really did play the sort of incompetent, sort of rich guy who is a little bit what's it called? Out of in touch with reality. And also the son does play a good asshole son, I could believe it, like it's an asshole son. And I could believe the reason it's an asshole son was because of his incompetent dumbass father. I can get that. Black Shadow was believably it was believably this type of like villains that we see in this sort of action comedy, something where the villain is just ridiculously, like, it was believable. Like, yeah, his performance in that was believable. I like some of the things that Funke Akindele did. Some of it was nice. The Instagram comedian, what's that guy? Yes. Brother Shaggy. Yeah. Like, I will say this, like, I don't think he's necessarily miscast. Mishandled, yes, but I don't necessarily think he's miscast. Like, you want it's kind of like, what's it called? The one that goes crazy and then the straight man. I have like a name in my head, but I've forgotten the names of those two people. They're like
Hart and whoever is usually paired up with.
Yes, like, no, yeah, kind of like that. Like, it is. I don't think the miscasting. I don't think there was like a sort of miscasting. I think the performance of the actors were like, yeah, they did what they were supposed to do with the roles that they were doing. So that's one thing. I don't think there's really that much of a bad performance in there. I think that this could have been I said lower mid. What I mean by is like it's like lower mid of this type of genre of filmmaking. It's like in the lower mid. It's not so bad that I have to say it's bad, but it's just like lower mid. But I do feel like there was a good movie, yeah, if there were just if they had made different choices. If they had learned to, well, that's going into the bad, right? But I don't really think it's bad. If they had like edited the guy down or did some few things, and it would be in the mid category. In the like, it's enjoyable. It's kind of like a Kevin Hart movie.
You said the milkmaid category.
Mid category.
Okay.
Mid category. I'm saying like
low mid. Yeah, as opposed to low mid, which is where you think
So
it's.
for me, it's in the low media of this genre, of this kind of genre of film,
Okay.
and not all films of this genre. It's like in the low media. It wasn't done so badly, like it's bad. No, but it's like in the low mid. Like if they had made different choices, if they had edited a little bit more down, the performances, there was nothing really wrong with the performances with the actors. Like they casted appropriately, I guess. Um, there was just other things that fell on the wave back that made this like in the sort of lower mid. There were enjoyable moments in it. So I just felt if they have done that, it will have been tighter for the type of genre that they're choosing. The type of genre they're choosing, I don't think it's like that amazing anyway. But anyway, it's for that type of genre, anyway, it will have been tighter. But like the performances were good. Um, like I mentioned, the performances, it looked pretty. Like the colors were popping. It was nice. Some of the locations that they chose was pretty cool. I love the firing place. You know when they did the shooting?
Mm-hmm.
No. Um, and I loved the decision of the choice of just not letting us see that, but we see like the fires that explode in the windows of that thing. That was actually a very beautiful shot, and I think that was actually a very, very beautiful idea, and that was amazing. That was a moment of like I thought it was genius.
I liked it when Dara did it in Oju Kokoro too.
I thought it was. I thought it was. I was like, wow, that's something. That's really cool. That's really cool. So there are very much cool some things that in the individual you can take it out of it. As a movie, yeah, it's not me. I'm not kind of particularly too upset that I spent my hours watching it, and you could see some spirit in it. And I was like, yeah, it's cool. It's not bad. Look, with caveats.
All right, thanks, Oyinka. All right, Atas, do you want to give us all the things you liked about this and couldn't stop talking about?
I really, really liked when the movie ended. That was very exciting for me. Yeah.
Wow. Oh, okay. All right. One of those. Nothing else? No jokes, nothing.
No beautiful gowns.
No beautiful gowns, no. Okay. All right. Shagu, do you want us to tell us the things you liked about
Hi guys, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, hi. Okay. Let's see. At a point, I, 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 I thought after the watch party, I just thought about it, and I'm like, you know what? Quite a number of people watch this kind of film and enjoy it. So I would say the good thing about it is these guys had a plan. They knew what they were doing. They had a plan. They set out to do something, and they achieved it. I think it works for the target market, which it's not me. But I can see the effort that went into it to appeal to a particular set of people, and I think they hit that well. Sound was decent. As much as as much as I watched it up to half, and I had to put it on mute because I was editing something else. I was editing some sound related stuff, so I was watching and following subtitles maybe when I got to the middle. So I don't know if the sound deteriorated after that, but what I heard so far, the sound was pretty decent and passable. I liked Bisola's performance. I've not really seen much of what Bisola has done. I've not watched much of things that Bisola has featured in, but I like Bisola's performance as far as the comedic part is concerned. What else stood out? Yes, and also the camera crew deserve their flowers. Apart from maybe one or two issues with focus pulling here and there, but the camera guys really gave us some very nice panning and sliding and steady cam shots, gimbal shots, some nice aerial shots and all that. So yeah, Yeah, that was pretty much it for me as far as the good is concerned. Yeah.
All right, no, thanks, Shaggy. I appreciate somebody else who does some of the technical things. Good to see it being appreciated. All right, Elizabeth just popped up, so Elizabeth, please tell us the things that you liked about Dwindle. Elizabeth, you not me. All right, okay. All right, let's give Elizabeth a moment. Mrs. C, you
I'm
okay?
here.
All right.
Okay. So did I miss the what people liked?
No,
it's
this
your
is where we
turn.
are.
Okay.
This
Oh
is where
wow,
we
you're
Oh,
trying
okay.
to escape.
Yeah, I was actually. I was okay. So what did I like? I like the set design. So first, this is a DNF. I didn't finish it. Shocks, not shocks, but still, I like. Well, while I watched it, I like the set design. That's one thing I'm going to really I want to give them the props for everything. Since okay, apart from that shady or shoddy hotel that they made the governor in the beginning, that no props for that one. But everything else, I like the location for the houses. Felt very relatable, not just putting things together. Even though maybe people won't like this, the police car that did not look like a police car, but I like that, the intention of the build, which, yeah, I really like that. What else? So just generally, the set design, sure. Yeah, bye.
All right. No, lots of people mentioning location. I think is worth pointing out because like for we're used to some certain type of locations and
One big
shots.
house.
Yeah, the expensive palo and all of that, and moving from palo to palo. I think there's going to be a time where we're going to stop praising it, but I don't think we're there yet. I still think there are a lot of films out there with a certain kind of aesthetic. So it's nice to get this nice change in locations where we can get them. But yeah, thanks, Elizabeth. Mr. C.
Okay. I'll start with Bisola. I really enjoyed Bisola, and I think she did really well with giving delightful in because she was supposed to be kind of a delightful character, right? When she had start off with her, like she's not like the most serious person. She's giddy about getting this, gig, right? This personal detail gig, and the 500K dressing up. She's like, and she sells it really well. Like in pictures on people who would have irritated me in that scene, and
You can see them right now.
I can see them right now. I can see them right now with baby voices and with but she was absolutely delightful. So I really enjoyed Bisola. And I feel kind of like no, I was gonna say like the thing about the character consistency, but never mind that. Who else? The guy who played the landlord. I like him as well. I enjoy him on my screen. I think he's typically entertaining, and I have seen him. I think he does have range. He plays different version of kind of a similar person, but I enjoy the different versions. I do wish Nollywood would use him more. I would like to see him do something else, but I think he can. I think he has it in him. So that was good as well. The casting of the governor, typecast, but it's fine. Sometimes don't fix what's not broken. If you're good in that role, you're good in that role. Stick with that. What else? Location was nice as well. That's true. The location was that was good location. What else did I like about the film? Okay, yes. I'm going to repeat the intention, right? I can see the intention. I like these stories, right? And I don't know if there's like a proper film term for it, but I like these stories where things are happening in parallel and they converge, right? I typically find them interesting when they're executed well. But like, I typically love those stories. I love the parallel storylines that intersect. I love anticipating where it's going to intersect, right? I know these people are going to meet, and it's like, I'm thinking of the theories of how they're going to meet, when they're going to meet, what's going to happen. I find them very interesting. Also, I love random jazz. Any Nollywood film that throws in random jazz, I love it. It gives me so many endorphins. So as soon as the belly dancer blew a powder in Chief's face, in the governor's face, I was very happy. I loved it when she transformed to the, other lady as well. I was like, oh, that's nice. I love that. And yeah, her as well. I loved her. Like, she didn't have much dialogue, and she was just carrying all of the acting with her mannerisms and her face, and I thought that was great. That was fantastic. Also, Arakwe, I think he's good. I think he's typically good as well. I also enjoyed him. I didn't like his character, but I liked him. I think he's quite good as an actor. So when they don't make him do a weird evil accent, I think he's great.
Okay. I was going to say whether we were going to do a whole round on nobody was going to mention it because I thought he was he's very good in his position. Before I go into my goods, I just want to remind people you can actually rate and review the movie Dwindle on Only Data. You can also tweet using hashtag Nollywood Film Club if you don't want to speak about Dwindle, if you don't want to come up and speak, but that we can follow. We'll put up your tweet if you want to join the conversation. All right. Okay. I actually have a list of my goods here. Let me see. So Mr. C just talked about Uzarikwe. I thought he was very good, and it's a different type of medicine. I think we've seen from him. I think also there were some jokes that I like on paper. Brother Shaggy closing the boot on the governor after noticing that it's the governor and it's someone. Well, after noticing there's someone inside the boot. I've seen that joke before, but I like it. Even it's appropriate. It's not like it was forced in there. I don't know that they needed to repeat it, but I liked that joke on paper. There is I like the lady who goes into the sort of taxi fly, and there's two guys in the Uber, and she's like, "Oh yeah," it's like there's two of you. Oh yeah, all right, okay. And she jets. I think that's really funny, and it's good like observation. Sometimes I watch films, and I'm like, you never put a woman inside that situation because like that's not what you do. But yes, it's nice to see that kind of thing, and it was played with testing humor. I like the joke about when Swanky was talking about his all his problems to his girlfriend, and he needs 2 million naira, and she says. She starts praying and calling the blood of Jesus, and Swanky says, "It's not blood of Jesus they're asking for; it's 2 million naira for his dad in the hospital." I actually like that both on paper and in the movie. There's a couple of like I liked even the joke where Brother Shaggy has to come back to get. Other things interrupting this, but when Brother Shaggy has to goes back to pick up the phone whilst is it Effa? Is having sex with this babe in the bathroom, and he's still having he steals the car keys once. They go on a ride, they talk, and then he comes back, and it's still going on. I like that on paper. Is that all the jokes? I think, yeah. So there are a couple of jokes like that I think work really well on paper. Some also do it on the screen as well. But this is where I can see the intent come. It's like when I see that joke, if I see it on paper, I'm like, no, that's funny. Pulling it off is slightly different, but I get it. What else? The social commentary. There's a lot of decent social commentary on here. I think he's our protagonist. Swanky's character is this really decent guy. He doesn't do anything. He did well in school, or he did decent enough in school. stayed in university, didn't seem to like break any rules, and then Nigeria happens to him, and he ends up being part of kidnapping a governor and asking for ransom. Right? Nigeria did that to him in this movie. That's, I think, part of the soul of this movie. And this is a good segue into going into the bad, because I think that end ruins everything. Because you can't paint Nigeria as, because that's it. Nigeria is like, is part of this, is this underlying bad guy. Like the police people that were trying to do the right thing, they get in prison, they get in trouble, right? They arrest them because they're using them as scapegoats. Even Bisola, how she gets into the position she's in, it's because, they didn't take her seriously because she's they see her as just a fine face, right? When she was asking for more men, right? It's just, oh, you're a fine woman who cares about you, that kind of thing. Nigeria is constantly happening to the characters in this, in the film, the ones that I guess we should feel for anyway. So it's weird that at the end, everything can just turn out okay in this same Nigeria. Like, oh, governor got found for fraud, blah, blah, blah. He's now locked up. Oh, the other, I feel like that just undercuts all of that social commentary, which was really, really, really annoying. But anyway, I've started off with the bad. So let's get to everybody else. Otas.
Oh my God, stop calling my name. I really didn't enjoy any part of this movie. So, yeah.
All right. Okay. Thanks, Otas. this I guess that works. Elizabeth, I know you didn't finish watching it, but from what caused you to DNF, did not finish? Elizabeth, are you there? Let's start with Vanessa. Let's go into Vanessa.
Sorry, can I keep talk? I keep forgetting that my name is Elizabeth. I don't know what's happening to me today.
Elizabeth, I'm not calling you should know this. All right.
In fact, I'm shocked. So one thing about what is it about Dwindle that I do not like? Let me tell you something. For the life of me, this is the first time in my life that I will wait and watch a movie to 1 hour mark. Movie that I am clearly not enjoying. Like clearly not enjoying. Like I tried my best to. I pushed it to 1 hour because for lockdown, by the 15 like this, I bounced. Same thing for me with Dwindle. So here is the thing, like when we're watching a movie about different characters, that parallel characters that should converge at some point, at least what I expect is some form of cohesion in their storytelling. Now, I don't know if the transition, if the editing wasn't good, or if it's that the transitioning of the editing from scene to scene wasn't good. But there was something, it didn't even feel like it was a sharp transition. It wasn't like it was sharp. It was like it was, I don't know, like almost something is happening and then they don't want us to see it and then something else pops. So after we saw Bisola and then we moved to the police story and we've established this universe where jazz work, and then we go to this. There was something about the scene with the landlord and Shaggy and Jide. I can't remember his character's name now. That's for you to know I wasn't really feeling this movie. There was something about the editing that wasn't good. That doesn't make the scenes very fluid. First, that was a turn off for me. 2, I don't know if it's that Shaggy bribed. Is Shaggy the producer of this movie? Because he felt like he wrote his own, like he wrote himself, like he gave himself so much dialogue. And the thing with me and Shaggy is that it takes me out of movies. Like, I'm not trying to watch an extended skit. On a good day, Shaggy's kind of comedy is not my cup of tea. Like, I don't think I've ever in my life mistakenly clicked on one of his, because he's often loud and it's really not my thing, really. I don't find him funny. I don't find the gestures funny. I feel like because there's so much indiscipline in his form of improvisation. Like, he doesn't know when he needs to press pause. Like, there is a part where an extended joke gets tired, and I don't think he has figured that out yet. So every time he opens his mouth is something throwing me out of the entire movie. So maybe it's Shaggy that got me really tired with this movie. But by the time I left this movie, it was already on the 1 hour mark and nothing was happening. And I mean it. And I don't think that there was enough incentive for me to say, you know what, stick to this story, gets better by the third act. So it really, because for me, they had not converged at any point. At that 1 hour mark, none of the characters that were seeing their lives had converged. There was nothing converged. And I don't think I should wait extra 1 hour to wait for you people to find your way to each other. So, I'm out. So that's it for me. So before I left this movie, I just felt like nothing was happening. There was a lot of story going on. The governor, the son, then there was a lot of all these tiny details that I don't want to go into, like, kidnapping an entire governor. And everybody was treating it like the stole ballet of one village. So there was that thing, and then and the lady and Jide Kenny and his girlfriend's part, there was just some things that were just not so at this point, so let's just ignore like all those tiny things, all those little details. Then the acting, there was so much going on. By the time I was seeing that ranger uniform on Demi Ban was, I don't know what was going on there, man. The whole Honestly, like, this movie is not really my thing. So for me, it was that as at 1 hour mark, this movie was 2 hours. At a 1 hour mark, our characters are not converged. Why will I watch what they've not converged? What was the rest of the movie? So for me, that's nothing. I like something to introduce the characters quickly. At least even Lockdown that I did not finish. Lockdown, they had converged the hospital by like the 30 minutes mark, like 20 minutes mark.
45 minutes.
Yeah, we already converged so early, but this one nothing was happening, so I was out. I had to go and sleep, which I did. I enjoyed that. Thanks, guys.
All right.
I'm just gonna piggyback off Elizabeth's Brother Shaggy complaint. I do find Brother Shaggy exhausting in Nollywood films. And I think because I have complained previously about, we've had this thing about Instagram comedians in Nollywood. And like I said in Rasdai, I was like, okay, I've come to the realization that I don't necessarily have a problem with Instagram comedians in movies. What I have a problem with is letting Instagram comedians ad-lib in movies. Because when Lasisi was given scripted lines to follow, I found him enjoyable. It doesn't seem like people script Brother Shaggy. It seems like I wouldn't know, but it seems what he gives, it's given, this is the idea, this is the premise, right? Take it away, right? This is what this scene is supposed to be. It's given Asaba, Nollywood, right? What Brother Shaggy delivers in Nollywood. And they seem to let him just run on with it. And that's why I find him exhausting in Nollywood, is they're not scripting him. And it's bad enough when it's one scene, two scenes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. But with Dwindle, Brother Shaggy was basically a lead. So it was almost an hour. If we cut the clips of Brother Shaggy speaking and put it together, they gave me an hour of Brother Shaggy doing his thing. And that was exhausting.
All right. Not a couple. I guess I just said, like, I guess if you like Brother Shaggy, this movie might go completely the opposite way for you because of this, then, because I guess if the big complaint I know is his brother Shaggy exhausted. Well, so far anyway, a big complaint is brother Shaggy. But I guess if brother Shaggy is your kind of thing, then this might really work for you, I guess.
Yeah, if you search Dwindle Netflix on Twitter, at some point you'll see alternating tweets going, "Oh, Brother Shaggy is hilarious," and then going, "Who cast Brother Shaggy in this movie? Brother Shaggy is, so funny. Brother Shaggy is exhausting." Like it is really, maybe he is Marmite.
Marmite, yeah. Yeah, it's difficult to be in the middle of that kind of thing. It's quite, but it is what it is. All right, okay. Vanessa.
Okay, so as Mrs. C has said what I wanted to say, I'm going to start with that. Just last week we watched a comedy that apparently Dwindle was supposed to be, and all of us were commenting not on mundane things, but more on like the progression of characters and the story and all of that. But one thing that we all agreed on during the Razguy discussion was when Nigerian comedy is written, it's funny as hell. Because we're actually really funny people. We're hilarious. And for whatever reason, it just doesn't connect in our films. And it's because we don't write our comedy. And maybe in old Nollywood, it worked with people like Nkemowo and Sam Loco and Mr. Ibu and that era of Nollywood. And maybe then it worked. But now it doesn't. I mean, and this is just beyond film. There was a time when Instagram skit comedians were funny. And that was many years ago. But not anymore. Because it gets exhausting. It's a thing of not knowing when to stop, really. And it's evident even in the skits they make. When you drag a joke out for so long, it ends up dry and stale. And then you now bring it into film. And then you drag it through a whole scene. Haba. Lasisi gave a really good performance in the first act of Razguy because the comedy was written. So all he really had to do was not try to be funny, but just act. And so invariably, he was funny. But what you have with people like Brother Shaggy and all the host of Instagram comedians turned actors, or maybe they were always I don't know, and being in Nollywood films is rather than them focusing on just being actors, they're trying to be funny because they're ad-libbing, they're improving, they're basically just going with the motion of the ocean. And it's like, that's a lot of energy you're expending doing a lot of stuff instead of just acting, right? If the jokes were pre-written, and we know this shit is funny, and Mr. C will say, I can see it being funny on paper. If it's funny on paper, then all these guys have to do is actually act. And then we would not be talking about how exhausting they are. We would be talking about the metal of their acting. How did they embody these characters? How did they land the joke with their face or their body? But not talking about how tiring and how drawn out the loud, shouty, screamy idea of a joke is. Because honestly, it's one thing to be loud, it's another to just be wow, wow, ambulance loud. Like, come on. But yeah, that's it. Again, write Nigerian comedies, don't ad lib. I feel like that should be the slogan now for Nigerian comedy. Actually write. I'm sure we have quite a few comedic writers in Hollywood. Same way we have a bunch of different kind of script writers in Hollywood who are just underutilized apparently. But I'm sure we have comedic writers who can actually write good jokes. Hire them, please. What's next? Yeah, I agree. This was a cinematic parallel. Cynthia, the name definitely reflected the movie because that movie was dwindling. it's this thing of you're trying to focus on too many characters at a time, and everybody's supposed to meet at some point, but it's like they never really meet, and until when 15 minutes to the end of the film. Why do we always leave stuff till when we have like 20 minutes to 15 minutes to the end of the film? That's not enough time to wrap up a film. You should have been wrapping up this film from the beginning of the third act. There has to be progression of some sort. It's like, I'm sorry, me, I wasn't feeling Uzo Arukoe as Black Shadow, because the way they were touting Black Shadow out to be this person, and it didn't land though. It didn't shadow any shadow. Shadow Rara, it didn't shadow. I'm sorry. I mean, and I love Uzo Arukoe. I believe in Uzo Arukoe's ability as an actor, but he wasn't shadowing. Also, Nollywood
And
is
I say that
underutilizing.
my praise for it's like the acting of him. I
said that as well. I don't like the character.
I can agree that they didn't give him.
Black Shadow
I
wasn't
think yeah. Somebody called him John Wick, the part 2 or something. I was like, where? That's like where? Like we haven't. I mean, like I know he's giving Cold. He did Cold quite well, but like you have to. In John Wick, where there's fear about him, but then we see why he is John Wick. He goes around murdering hundreds of people because they killed his dog. Like you have to show us something. But yeah, sorry, that's good. Yeah.
I know, I agree. It's just Black Shadow wasn't shadowing. Also, I'm going to need Nollywood to stop casting Demi Banwo in unnecessary things. Demi is incredibly talented. Baba can act. I'm going to need them to let this man act, because I don't know what that character was, why it was necessary. Honestly, Demi Banwo can act, and Nollywood needs to get it together, which is where I'm also going with our Ashoke Bad Bitch. The actress who plays that character is amazingly talented. She does a lot of stage work.
I own copyrights. I own copyrights of that name.
You
Sorry,
do,
go on.
You do, Shay. You do. You do. She does stage work. And she's incredibly talented. But there's the thing about Nollywood casting women who look a certain way as certain things. The fact that she has a shaved head, and she's dark skinned, and she's tall, and she's full figured, doesn't mean she should be playing mama, mother. It's like we need to stop typecasting people and casting people based on appearance. It's not doing us any favors. It really isn't. We should be casting people based on their ability to act. Yes, we love pretty people, but she's gorgeous. She might not be the Nollywood standard of gorgeous, but she's a beautiful woman. And we should stop. It's ridiculous at this point. Can we not? And it's not just with women either. It's the same thing that's happening to Demi Banwo. It's like we need to move past the superficial. I don't know. There's something that this film really did. Like there's a lot of stuff that this film really did that got my nerves. But like a lot of the casting and a lot of the people that they put in small roles versus the people that they put in leads. Sorry, Loki Shade Brother Shaggy. It's just really upsetting. At this point, it's like, why are we still doing this? I know this was an attempt at a Nigerian comedy, but we've had really good Nigerian. Old Nollywood, as much as they ad-libbed, was really funny because those men were hilarious. We've had good Nollywood comedy, but yes, our comedy has developed. Our sense of humor has changed. The things we find funny has changed. What's really funny is when you take stuff that's happening from real life. And so it's not necessarily a ha-ha funny, but when you tell it as a joke, it actually is funny. Not, guy, what's up? And somebody is loud, and somebody is, I don't know. Also, I guess Timini was supposed to be integral to this. I don't know how. Maybe it was a thing of they started writing the character and then they forgot about him because Brother Shaggy was on set. Because wasn't he the reason why his father was kidnapped? So why wasn't there a whole focus on developing that relationship with his father to see why he got to the point where he got his father kidnapped? And the scene in the car wasn't enough. I'm sorry. A scene in a car is not enough. We need more to actually believe that he would want to do that. It's the same thing with who else again? Also, Like, how did he lose that money? What did he borrow? How was he involved with David? But there's a whole lot that's missing. And it's like, but apparently he was integral to the chief's story. How? It's like there are a lot of loose ends that were sacrificed and left untied for the supposed comedy that ended up not being funny. Because I didn't laugh at all. I don't know how you laughed. I didn't even chuckle. Not even a tiny little giggle. It wasn't funny. The Raz guy was funny. First scene and some bits in the first act and some bit in other acts, not the bits with Brother Shaggy, but other acts, other scenes in other acts of the Raz guy were actually funny. I actually laughed a lot. And that's a testament to the comedic writing that was in the Raz guy. I don't know how you leave your whole film to be ad-libbed. 90% of this film was ad-libbed. Doesn't make any sense. Can we... I'm tired of sounding like a hater. I'm tired of sounding like a preacher. I'm tired of standing on a soapbox and saying Nollywood needs to do this, Nollywood needs to do that. Who am I? Nollywood, last, they will not listen to me. Last, they will throw shade on the timeline and everybody will go to sleep. Same way I'll go to sleep and forget this movie ever happened. But we need to do better. That's all.
All right. Okay. Thanks, Vanessa. Some salient points. Another Brother Shaggy hit piece. I guess again, it's something I'd say that if people, I guess if you like Brother Shaggy, I guess maybe that was always the plan. I don't know. But I'm gonna read some tweets. I think this from Soft Life Optimizer says, "New Nollywood struggles with showing poverty, but there's a way Kaide Kasim does it that pulls you in." I think that's not I don't think that's unreasonable. I think his best work with this is Oga Bolaji. Incognito says, "My issue with the film started in the very beginning. A whole governor goes to a meeting where he is asked not to come with security, and they don't have any sufficient explanation as to why the governor has to adhere to such a ridiculous request." And be on there saying it was an unofficial meeting and they are not exactly meeting to save the nation. Which, I mean, like, I don't know that as a defense. This is the governor of a state. At the very least, security around the premises, maybe not inside, but yeah. Anyway, understand the gripe. Okay, Shagun, do you want to give us some of the things that bothered you about Dwindle?
Okay. First of all, everything Vanessa said, everything Elizabeth said. First of all, then secondly, now I have no hate. I have no hate for Brother Shaggy. I mean, but I just feel like the movie was. Nobody can convince me that he's not the executive producer. I'm sure he's a behind the scenes executive producer for this thing.
He's not. He's not.
You people can't tell me. You can't tell me. That's what I'm sticking to. That's what I'm sticking to. He was an executive producer because you cannot tell me how this guy has 1 hour plus screen time on this shit. But moving on. Because I mean, the whole thing was centered around him. Because I mean, if you go on his YouTube, he has 1.5 million subscribers. Something he released yesterday already has 174,000 views. So that is the strategy, which, like I said in the beginning, that is what they sought out to do, and that's a good thing. You need to look at this. You need to look at this from this angle. This 1.5 million subscribers that he has is ticket money. You're looking at its views, its viewership. And it adds to their numbers. So I mean, kudos to them on that. But that's what the whole thing is about. It was about Brother Shaggy. You can't even tell me anything about it. Now, coming to with the way we do things on this platform, I got to a point where I don't like like Vanessa said, I hate sounding like a broken record. So I had already made up my mind that, you know what, there's no point, because it's the same thing we keep complaining about day in, day out. But then again, I had a rethink, and I said, look, there are other aspiring filmmakers, there are other upcoming filmmakers that listen to this platform, so it will always be good to point out stuff that might not be so obvious to them and things that they can avoid. So that's really why I'm going to continue doing it. With that being said, I'm going to talk about a couple of things based on just technical angles, and not because this is a film, because this is not a film. It was just a collection of extended skits, which again is fine, because there is viewership, there is followership, there's target market for it. Do you understand? Which, from a business perspective, it's not a bad thing. So that's fine for them. My gripe with Nollywood is that when we talk about things like this, the response is always, go and shoot your own. Do you think it's easy? I'm telling you, your food doesn't sound sweet. I've eaten jollof rice somewhere. Your own is not sweet. Your response to me is, people are buying it. Go and buy rice somewhere else. Rather than go and look at what this other person is doing and look at what ingredients are missing so that maybe you can change it. It's not going to cost you anything. But the response with Nigerian producers and filmmakers is that, do you think it's easy? Why are you always putting down hard work? Blah, 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 blah. But that's by the way. As far as the film is concerned, there's just so many, from scene to scene, there are so many holes. Let's say the governor is conservative. There's nowhere on this planet where there's a security detail that is less than 5 or 6. For a governor in any state, when there's some official security that is attached to them. So that whole thing was a joke, but then again, it's a joke. I mean, it's a collection of skits, so that is fine. Because I think Nollywood producers, we sort of like have a hard-on for SWOT, the concept of SWOT. For some reason, because it blew my mind during lockdown how SWOT was the first thing that we saw rather than medical emergency protocols. But I mean, so it's happened here where there was obviously no thought process. I don't know how that whole team, that whole squad that went after Bisola and Funke Akindele, how that whole squad exists at that time, and it didn't exist immediately after the governor disappeared. How they didn't deploy that kind of thing to even start some kind of search and rescue. How that didn't happen, I don't understand. I don't have a problem with it because I mean, it works for the people that watch it. What other scenes? All the other actors. Like I said earlier, an actor is only as good as how the director directs the actor. Now, there are particular cases where we have actors that they themselves are directors, so they might not even need, they can just play their role naturally. A Tom Cruise, Samuel L. Jackson, Denzel Washington, you just need to tell them, bro, this is what we want to do. And because of their experience as directors, they can just play the role with minimal corrections and minimal guidance. But in the case where we started having, I had issues with the whole Instagram comedians becoming actors, but then again, I now remember that we exist in a society where a lot of the things that we do, we are self-taught people. The guys making big money in tech are self-taught. They didn't go to any big school. They didn't go to any fancy anything. So the same translates to this side of creativity, the creators. Yes, we are self-taught, but at the same time, when you say you are self-taught, you still learn something from somewhere. And there are steps. You still learn the steps. It's just that you didn't learn the steps in a big school. You learn the steps on YouTube, but the fact still remains that there are steps and procedures you need to follow, which, for me, it's like a slap in the face when Nollywood keep releasing material like this, forgetting that it's a product, and we in the market, there are two different types of customers. The customers that you really want, and the other customers that might come across your stuff and might find it offensive. And for you not to even take the efforts to look at how your product can appeal, or your product will, at least, even if the other party don't particularly like it, but you need to tailor your product in a way where it's just average, it just passes average acceptability for the people that are not your target market. So it just translates across everything from where they were protesting. There was no start and finish to the protest. The protest was outside. It was obvious that they were inside some school compound somewhere. There was no attention to detail in anything. The shootouts, and then again, what I always say with this filmmaker, a lot of filmmakers, is that it's as though we are not developing the story from the script. We have all these ideas, and we now write a story around these ideas. If we want a badass shootout somewhere, I want to show people on the floor, give us color lighting, give us music video lighting and camera pans of dead people on the floor and Zobo blood on the floor and all that. So you have all those ideas. Those ideas are now sketched out and fleshed out. I'm sure those scenes were even written before you now tie in a story to connect all these scenes. We want SWAT to do this. I want action. I want people to really feel the action. So let's put SWAT here. I want this to happen here. And then you now tie in so many things because I was not following. I couldn't piece anything together. It was just random extended skits happening here and there, which I looked at it and said, yes, this might be enjoyable to some people, but as far as the concept of filmmaking and art, the art of filmmaking is concerned, it was totally rubbish. And no offense, but on that angle, it's rubbish. For what they were trying to do, I'll say it's 100%, and yeah, I'll give them their kudos for that. But that's it for me. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Shagun. I guess more attacks on semi-attacks, shots at Brother Shaggy, but
no shots at Brother Shaggy. No.
Okay,
Brother Shaggy is phenomenal. Brother Shaggy is phenomenal in what he does. That is no. I'm just saying it so that they don't mob me because Brother Shaggy has fans.
Shagun, I'm about to read a tweet. That's the
okay.
Shaggy overdid it. That's the tweet I'm reading. This is from Soft Life Optimizer. Shaggy overdid it, but they needed an unserious character to complement Chinedu's seriousness. Yeah. So like, this is the wacky guy for the straight guy. I understand that combination. He was. He's the straight character.
A lot of supposedly funny things from him, right?
Can't speak from all the way over there.
Sorry, but okay, he was supposed to be doing some supposedly funny things, like when he was jumping the fence, right? And he gets caught on it.
Yeah, but like it's the nature of him is a straight man. He will only do things. He will only be funny in the way that any normal person will be funny. So like, if you did catch yourself on the fence, which he did, yes, you would scream, but he's not doing it in a funny way.
He exaggerated the responses. Like, that fence thing lasted a minute or two. There were a few things where he was supposed to be being funny as well. So, which makes you can still have a funny guy but it's just too much.
Look, I'm surprised nobody has called Swanky's performance out at this point, because I think it was awful, worse than Brother Shaggy's in my opinion, because I think Brother Shaggy's doing what Brother Shaggy is supposed to is kind of supposed to do with
no. Listen, like I said, sorry to cut you off. Like I said, it is on the directors to let you know. I mean, look at Raz Guy, for crying out loud. Lasisi is the kind of guy that.
What point are you trying to?
No, calling out people's performances. Lasisi is not.
No. The reason why I'm saying this is that it's not the first time, right? I think I was solo on this, but it's not surprising when I called. I didn't think he was great in Living in Bondage, and people loved him in that, and I was like, okay, I noticed performances that were good. Yeah, I noticed performances that were good, but I didn't like him at all. Have you seen
Lasisi anywhere else in movies?
Not Lasisi. I haven't seen Lasisi anywhere else.
My point exactly. So how was Lasisi's performance on this first thing that you saw?
Why are we talking about Lassisi's performance? I'm talking
I
about.
know. I'm just trying to make a point. I'm trying to make a point
Okay.
that a lot
Okay.
of problems we have with our actors you cannot blame the actors as though
Wait, but
they
in
were
that.
coming from.
Okay, so but like in this film, you're talking about the Ras guy. Lassisi
Yeah.
had great performance, but she had a great performance, and then we have Brother Shaggy and MC Lively overdoing it. So
Yeah. Yes, but you
directed, right?
see, but that's yes, but you see, Brother Shaggy has been in that. Brother Shaggy was typecast basically for that. So they didn't. If you needed somebody else to do something, you would have gotten somebody and then trained them to do it. But they needed that Brother Shaggy element for that part, so they probably didn't bother to. Let's not change him.
Okay, so what do you
know,
say? Okay,
so as opposed to having a Brother Shaggy trying to be Lassisi's role, it's possible to make a Brother Shaggy if somebody calms him down and says, "This is what we need from you. This is how you." Everybody will be shocked if Brother Shaggy gave us a Lassisi performance. Do you get in Rora's guy? So that's what I'm trying to put out. A Lassisi too, on some of his skits, he screams and does certain things like Shaggy. And some of like all those is Yahoo Boy skits and everything. Do you get? And it should have been expected for him.
Shaggy, you're going too far.
Yeah.
You're going too far. Because like Lassisi, yes, Lassisi does all that screaming stuff as well. But like in the right side, he's playing. His character is almost for the first part. He's playing it straight. He's playing the comedy straight. He's not trying to be funny.
Yeah.
He's just performing the script. Right?
Yeah, no, he wasn't even supposed to be funny. It wasn't even supposed to be funny.
Wait, let me finish.
Okay, sorry.
So there's that performance from Lassisi. Even in this movie, that's what we said. Like you don't even have to go far. That's an Instagram comedian giving us a different performance, not adding a lot of filler, a lot of ad-libbing. That's in that same movie. So if you say Brother Shaggy wants to give a Brother Shaggy, has been hired to give a Brother Shaggy performance, whatever. Okay, fine. In this movie, Dwindle, you have I'm criticizing Swanky's this style from Swanky's criticizing Swanky's performance. There are loads of other Uzo and the person who plays his mother, our Ashoke, that bitch, they both give good performances. Right.
No, I don't know. I don't think Black Shadow's performance was 0. It's because of his look. He's not a particularly smiley guy, so it fits that thing. And then the Ashoke Bad Bitch as well had that look, so there was really no effort.
Okay.
You get you get where I'm going.
No,
so it is.
No, I guess we just disagree on whether they.
Oh, okay, it's fine.
All right, because I think they did. I think they really did their performances really well, and I think Jidena was bad. Not
okay.
Awful. And again, it's not the first time he's been bad. If I'm going to call Sharon out, I'm going to call Jidena out as well. Sorry, not Jidena. I don't like his music, Jidena, but Jidekene, yes, is Swanky. Yes, I didn't like his performance in this. I thought it was quite bad, and I'm surprised nobody else called it out. But let's get to a couple of other people. But I'll remind people you can also review this by either one of two ways. You can tweet at #Nollywood Film Club. You can also vote. You can also review it on Nolly Data. It's in the pinned tweet. I'm going to read a couple of other tweets that have been sent in. This from B Alexander. Might have worked better if the story was told with the hyperlink technique. I am, in my opinion. That's an interesting thought. I mean, like, it's difficult. It's difficult to draw the difference between like a hyperlink technique. For anybody who, I don't know, I think this is something kind of like Babel and Crash, this type of films. I don't know what the story is going for. I don't actually. A lot of people have brought up the car thing. I don't have a problem with not the car thing. The governor going. I see why people have an issue with it. I personally do not have a problem with the governor going, because again, that start shows sets up almost a silly world. So that's not too I'm not supposed to take that too seriously, is what I think. But LeBron J thinks differently. He says, if you're a Nigerian, you know that asking a governor not to come to a meeting with his security or choosing a meeting location for a governor in Nigeria is all capped, and I'm not buying it. Our believability can't be suspended here. I see it as lazy writing. All right, so yeah, not everybody can buy it. Is buying the government thing. I understand actually why people don't buy, and I don't even think it was done particularly that well, that aspect, because they could have just had him make that decision on his own without it being a request, because it being a request gives major red flags. It could have just been maybe people who have been like, tracking him and all of that, or maybe he doesn't like to go with security, or maybe his son knows he doesn't like to go with security when he goes to some places with women. He just hires female police. I don't know. It could have been done differently. Being told not to come with security for me is a red flag, but understandable. All right. So who?
I just thought being told not to come with security screams, "I want to kidnap you."
That's what I just said.
No.
That's literally what I just said. That's the same thing. Why is it that? All right, Yinka, please tell us. Sorry, Cynthia. Tell us things you do not like about this.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I told myself I was going to laugh throughout what I wrote. So I won't feel bad. So first of all, back to the story. What the film is built on. I felt they were very bold or audacious to think that kidnapping a governor will be like a full comedy movie. Like it kind of shows that they're out of touch with the reality that happens in Nigeria. Like if you kidnap a local government chairman, there's going to be riots, there's going to be war, there's going to be fire. Okay? But kidnapping a governor and okay, let me write a story about kidnapping a governor and we're going to make it a full comedy. It's really, really bold. It's very bold. Okay. Secondly, everyone has spoken about Brother Shaggy, and when I saw Brother Shaggy in that house and Swanky was moving, I was actually praying that please do not open your mouth. Because every time he spoke, it was noise, noise, noise to me. And like Shegun have said, Brother Shaggy has a YouTube channel, okay? With a lot of subscribers, with a lot of his comedy. We want to watch a movie. If we want to watch Brother Shaggy, we'll go to his YouTube channel. Okay? So yeah, I wish people should understand this. Then we have Swanky JKA. I think it was at the it was at the mid of this movie I realized that it was supposed to be a dispatch rider or something like that. But it was cool on corporate where, in fact, that part where that man was using megaphone to talk, I was pissed. Even me that have tiny voice, I won't need a megaphone to talk to less than 20 people. Talk to less than 20 people. So this one JK character was supposed to be a dispatch rider. In fact, I find it odd that his mom was even asking him to ask for salary advance or something like that. But let's just leave it. Then they had a protest scene and a police. I'm like, okay, how does this add to the story? I mean, they just kidnapped a governor. Oh, well, they were trying to meet. Then they showed him on the news. I'm like, okay, maybe this news thing will pop up later in the movie and I'll be like, okay, there's a reason why they showed him on the news. It's for the record. Then we also had a scene where Shaggy was talking about how Shaggy magu his way into becoming more than a one-day roommate. And I'm like, of what significance is this to the story? They just kidnapped a governor. Why do I care about all this? Why do I care about all this? Then we had Timini's meet and greet with is it Debo? Okay, I don't know his name, but Timini's meet and greet for 5 million USD. Oh, Demi Banwo, and Demi Banwo came with his knife or big nail. I don't know what he was holding, and he pierced his
It's
chest.
called chuku chuku. It's called chuku chuku.
Okay, Demi Banwo. Demi Banwo came with his shuku chuku. And he pierced the chest region of Timini. So I'm guessing the way the zobo or the way the blood was flowing out, you assume that he burst a prominent vessel. And then some of his guys came, did the thing and everything. And the next thing I'm seeing Timini stand up. And I'm like, did a prominent vessel just break from your chest region? What is happening here? I mean, um, even if razor cuts me, I know I will not stand up like that. But I saw a lot of blood. Okay, it's looking like your aorta just burst. Guy, why are you standing up? Why are you moving up and down? No medical attention. I, I just had to let it go. I just had to let it go. It was fine immediately. Then we had the car scene, the police car scene with Funke and the police, and they were talking about how they want to escape. Uh-uh. And these two men were in the car, and I'm like, what's going on here? How are you planning your escape route with the people that are taking you to the prison, and they can hear you plan your escape route, and then they plan the sexy, seductress, seducing, seductive act. And 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 I have a question because I want to know what happened. Is it that the guys went to the back of the seat and in the process of doing the stairs, a spirit pressed the brake of the car so they were able to open the door and threw the men away? Like how did how did it happen? How did it happen? Because how were they able to throw the policemen away? Okay, because the two ladies were at the back, so maybe the two policemen went to the back seat because they came from the back seat, but the car was still moving, and somebody miraculously pressed the brake in the front seat, and in the process of the stairs happening, these women were able to throw these able-bodied men away of the car, and they miraculously jumped to the front seat of the car, and the car just moved. I have a lot of question with that, a lot of question for that thing. Then I also got confused who are the leads because Brother Shaggy and Swanky JK kept taking everything, and I actually thought this movie was going to be very focused on the police women. Okay, so back to character. Like Vanessa have already said, I think Timini's character was meant to have something, but it was poorly developed because um his character was the one that borrowed 5 million USD for Demi Banwo's bad gig. He asked them to kidnap his father so that he can get the 5 million USD. So I was like, okay, maybe he wants to pay the money, right? But something was missing. Like, first of all, I didn't even get enough rich vibes or spoiled kid from his character. And we also needed enough reason to why this guy wants his father kidnapped. Okay. It's not like they showed us if his father was abusive to him. They just showed the casting of his father not wanting to sponsor his business. But it didn't even show it was very spoiled to think of kidnapping his father. So we needed more from them. Then the Black Shadow. Uzarikwe. At the beginning of the movie, we have Funke Akindele walking to the policeman and say Black Shadow. Then we had Bisola having a flashback, and this Black Shadow was supposed to be an organ harvester. And by the way, like during the watch party, I said that if that is how they harvest organs, you will not be able to sell it because because it was not carelessly. I mean, the other was sitting on the bed, and even me that work with animals, I will not put my mouse brain like that. But then again, that was like harvest organ. So we have this character that was supposed to be a bad guy. It was supposed to be tough, yes, but later, when he met with Swanky JKA, is videoing the Camry moving. I'm like, what? Is arguing with Timini is hesitant to kill the governor. This is an organ harvester. This is an organ harvester. Like, do you just write something for a character and you forget that you have told us that this character is supposed to be a bad guy, and something miraculously happened and everything changes? And we also had a lot of unnecessary characters in this movie. First of all, Abba, I did not understand the need of his character. Yes, I know he sold a drug to Shaggy, and probably Shaggy ended up using the drug to make the governor sleep, which also does not make sense that someone is sleeping and everyone thought he was dead. But like, I, I, I did not understand what his character was doing there. Okay, we had Temisan. Okay, he went to hide behind the mannequin. Okay, we know, okay, maybe Bisola then needed him to change clothes, but really, why did he have that long scene? And even in that scene, you could tell Bisola and Fuke also said they did not have a car, or they wanted Temisan to provide a car for them, and Temisan did not bring a car for them. So who even gave them the car that they used to escape? I know the clothes came from Temisan's character. We also have Oga Collins, Efa, and maybe because his birthday is yesterday, I won't say much, but um I don't understand. Okay, yeah, his character was supposed to be the one to give them the Nkechi, but
I think it's really.
it had yes, the Toyota Camry, the Nkechi, but it still was too long. Like, what? Why are you wasting? Why are you wasting time telling me Nkechi this, Nkechi have a large yacht? Like, why are you wasting my time? Why are you wasting my time? Then we also had the deputy governor behind the bag. I mean, it felt like the deputy governor had an agenda. In fact, when we started this movie and everything was going, before they showed Timini looking at Gold Bank to see if they have like brought the 5 million USD, I was telling them in the watch party that maybe it's this deputy governor that planned this kidnapping. And the two times the deputy governor appeared, I felt like, well, don't even put him again, because you didn't like give anything to this character. It's just like there for being okay. Let's just put a deputy governor that have ambitions. Let's just put him there. Okay. And yeah, I also like the jazz in the movie. I like the jazz they use. Like, I wouldn't have picked it, but because the movie wasted my time, I'm sorry, I have to pick on the jazz. Because I actually like when the babe was dancing and she blew powder and it changed to our Ashoke Bad Beach. But if you notice, when they walked out of the hotel room, you could see that the belly dancer came. So at first I felt like, oh, it's only when you are on the jazz you can see the Ashoke Bad Beach. But throughout the movie, we didn't see the belly dancer again. Is it that she just all of us that were watching the movie and we could not see, we're not under the jazz and it's only the Ashoke Bad Beach we could see? Or it could be like they have changed it, but like you have introduced that the jazz work, okay, and we see the person behind this belly dancer, but I, I didn't understand when it became consistent that it has to be the Ashoke Bad Beach. Then we also have the use of language. Like I said in my life, which could also be like that. The name of the movie Dwindle actually mirrored everything we're going to see. Okay, so if you're going to use the English meaning of Dwindle, reduction in quality. So from the beginning to the ending, there was like the quality kept on shrinking. But Shaggy kept on shouting, "No dwindle, no dwindle, no dwindle." And for the several times he shouted "no dwindle," Netflix was giving me different translation. Stupid, misbehave, um, I've forgotten the third translation, but I know Netflix gave me like three different translations for the word "no dwindle." Yes, I appreciate the title of a movie being said in the movie. Like when in the Raz guy Lasisi when he changed to speaking with a lot of grammatical error, you could see where he started saying I'm Raz, and he started speaking like that. But this not doing do it was tiring. And it's not like the dwindle meaning was matching the English meaning. And I don't know if dwindle means another thing, but even if dwindle means misbehave and stupid, ah, then maybe the title of the movie, maybe the title of the movie. Uh, no, I don't want them. I would say Dwindle has to mean that because it will make it worse. Okay, and we also have a lot of Oshodi Americana language. Yes, I have to say this because I'm watching this movie and I'm hearing Swanky J go from one temptation to another temptation. Jesus Christ. Okay, no, that sounded like British, not Americana. I'll come to the Americana mode. Then Shaggy come and be like, "What are we gonna do?"
Yeah, I have to say at that point, I appreciated Shaggy doing that because I think Shaggy was taking the mick out of Swanky's new astonished British accent again. Why Swanky's performance is bad. You just switch accents in the middle, in the middle. But yeah, and but Shaggy makes fun of him by doing the "What are we gonna do?" But like that's like a blooper. That's something that you should go. Oh yeah, right. Okay, so
Oh
Swanky.
yeah. And we had a lot of
Yeah.
shirts, man. And I'm like the policewomen when they wanted to shoot shirts, man. And this same Swanky and Brother Shaggy shirts, man. Okay, but I'll take it. And I'm hearing we begged, bro. I just felt like this part was written by someone that stayed in America and was like, oh, let me just like put in some of my words to see if we're going to laugh with it and all that. Then when Shaggy and Swanky found the 3.4 million, so they found the money in the bag. So I guess they counted 34 bundles, even though they're not sure, and they thought it was 3.4 million, or they said it was 3.4 million. Um, I was like, so why are you trying to um move on with kidnapping the governor? Why are you trying to go on with this? I mean, you just had 3.4 million. You're looking for 2 million. You're looking for house rent. Carry money and go away. What was the motivation to keep going, to keep going, to keep going? Like, if you even see governor that was kidnapped, you're supposed to run away. You're supposed to run away. So where is this motivation coming in from? Are you sure? Like, but well, that's that. That's that. Then we had a lot of Hollywood and Nollywood in this movie. I don't have a problem with testing. So let's start with this. So we had this Temi Sanchez and it was running and it passed through its testing and it ran out. And I was like, okay, what are we supposed to do? Are we supposed to laugh? Like, if you watch Hollywood movie, you will see like in action movie, but there's a reason why we laugh at that testing. Okay, it's not because they just pass through its testing. It's because probably these characters are action, they're fighting, and they run through that testing, and you are in shock. Or maybe the person running makes a face, and we laugh. But they just like copy and pasted this thing. We have seen it in Hollywood. Let's put it. It was going to run and pass two people fucking, and they will laugh. And I'm like, huh? Then they also had the toilet sex thing. I mean, in Hollywood, I've laughed at toilet sex thing, okay? And there's also a reason why I laugh. It's not because they just copy and paste a toilet person. It could be that those two people are the main people. It could also be that the main guys were looking for something and by mistake they stumbled on this thing and they heard noise and they put a particular face that made me laugh. But I just felt they were like copying and pasting things that they have seen worked and like put it there. And like that's what I felt. And I got convinced when I saw an helicopter. And I'm in a movie. I'm in the middle or almost end of the movie. They were doing police investigation, and I saw an helicopter, and I'm like, "Where is this helicopter coming from?" Like, it felt like it was like a scene cut out from another movie because I didn't know where the helicopter was coming from. Like,
I think it was stock footage.
okay, I don't know where is this helicopter coming from. Then I saw an army truck. Oh yeah, there's an army truck, and it's supposed to be comedy. And I was wondering if we're watching a war film. And to even make it worse, is when I think the army truck looks like the Ghanaian flag. So it could be a Ghanaian army truck, but I really don't know, but that's definitely not a Nigerian army truck. I've not served in the military, but I know how army truck looks like in Nigeria. So they had so many things. They were like, let me just copy and paste and let's see how it's going to go. Okay. We also had a shooting raid and please, please, please. And we had a Nigerian database. So Funke found out Michael and Chinedu, and that's why I say Hollywood in Nollywood. And she's not calling, and they're not checking database, Nigerian Security Service or something. Pa pa pa. We can't find it. Pa pa pa. We can't find electricity bill. I'm like, eh? In which country? In which country? And I'm never forgiving them if we go to this database part and maybe they're using the news that they made me waste my time to watch the police protest with Swanky Jerry, him appearing in the news, the crime fighter news, and this crime fighter news pop up at this point, but I really don't know what they were doing. They decided to bring in the FBI mode and a Nigerian database appeared. Okay, then because I've said a lot, let me rush. Then I have brand placement, which is going to be like almost the last thing I'm going to say. So in terms of brand placement in Nollywood, I thought the worst I'm going to see would be alcoholic drink. The zoom in and zoom out of alcoholic drink to tell us that this drink is sponsoring this movie. I mean, they do it a lot with trophy beer. So I thought that was going to be the worst I would see from Nollywood in terms of brand placement. But okay, so I don't know if Kuda Bank sponsored this because I checked the poster and I only saw buttermilk. But I also felt like Shaggy calling his bank account and saying Kuda Bank and it was linked to fraud was somehow. Although the money was reversed, but it didn't show that it was because of how effective Kuda Bank was. That's why the money was reversed. Okay, anyways, we are back to the main sponsors, buttermilk. Oh, whatever the name of this sweet brandy. So they had 2 hours in this movie. 2 hours in this movie. And they had a lot of relatable things where this ad would have worked for a typical Nigerian, but they said no, this is going to be a backup or an afterthought ad. And they kept it at the traditional wedding. Okay, instead of Kulanot, you're saying buttermilk, and I think the end is same. But in this same movie, we had Shaggy smoking cigarettes. And no one thought, because, okay, I know when people smoke in Nigeria, or while I was in Nigeria, after smoking, some of them take sweets, okay? And no one thought, he just finished smoking cigarettes. Let him open buttermilk to lick. They said, no, we're going to put it at traditional wedding as Kulano. We had scene where we had a bar scene where people are drinking. I also know very well that when some people drink in Nigeria, they buy Tom Tom and other sweets. And no one thought, let's introduce this buttermilk here. They said no, we're going to put it in the traditional wedding. We even had scene in the taxi fly. I know when I used to order for Uber in Lagos, okay, there are some drivers that used to have sweets in their car. And no one thought, let's put this buttermilk sweet. Let's put this buttermilk sweet in this car. Something that every Nigerian will see and you'll be able to relate to the ad. They said no. Okay, no. We're going to put it at the traditional wedding. And it's funny because the first time I watched the movie, or when we watched at the party, I didn't even watch up to the traditional wedding. And I also did not watch the ending where the policeman opened the buttermilk sweet. So if I had to like go back and watch everything because of this movie review. So if I was watching this movie for watching sake, I would have even reached where the brand was placed. I mean, why? Like, why would you do that? Why would you do that? What's your reason? Because they had scenes where this brand would have been placed and it would have worked. Why is it an afterthought? And yeah, the women looked beautiful in their makeup. But I just felt like all this car makeup for the men were just like off. And I think I've used all my energy.
Yeah.
I think I've used all my energy, and I would want to stress on the ending, but so many things happened in that ending, and yeah, I don't know. I will go now.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Cynthia. I think with the Buttermint's ad placement, I don't see how that just wasn't a late interest from Buttermint to sponsor the film, and that wasn't just tacked on because it's just two parts at the end. It's things that done like you mentioned. Yeah, it would have made sense if they could sponsor the film. But yes, that scene right at the end is with the policemen that add literally nothing to the story, and they just eating butterman. That's
found two extras in this.
in fairness, is after the film has finished, but that's the clearest indication of
They probably came in late.
yeah,
Yeah.
advertisement. Oh, we need to put in something. But yes, that was at least very comical. Don't forget, you can join the conversation either by reviewing it on Nolly Data or sending a tweet. If you want to come up, you can request to be a speaker. You can use the hashtag Nollywood Film Club, and we'll get to your comment. All right, okay. Oyinka, can you tell us some of the things you didn't particularly like about the film?
Okay. Oh, so sorry. I was talking. Yes. Cynthia, as always, you are hilarious, and you got so many parts of it right. Like it was just funny. So let me first of all talk about the Brother Shaggy thing, right? I said that I don't think he was miscast, and the reason why I said that is like his character that was written down. There is like written down, right? As little as written as writing happened in this movie was supposed to hack like the crazy, like the Kevin Hart thing. So I'm going to use Kevin Hart as kind of an example, right? Like the Kevin Hart movies, right? He hacked the crazy one, right? This is that type of comedy where it's like that body something comedy, right? Where crazy things happens around them and the two of them have to like handle it, and there's always one that is acting crazy. But Ashagi fits that bill, right? It fits that typecasting. But the issue here is that editing is something, right? Like it's not even editing transition that I wanted. It's like just edit down the footage. Edit down the footage. If you're watching this movie, if you're watching the raw capturing, right? Cut it where you see that the joke has ended. Like just cut it off. We don't have to see that. They can go on for long, guys. It's not the ad libbing that is the problem. That's not the problem. You can always cast your Instagram comedians or something. I have no problem with that. Okay. It's not that's not the problem. The problem is that editing is an issue in Nigerian movies. They don't know when to cut things. They don't know when to cut things and make the movie and the pace of the movie go fast, right? That's the issue with Brother Shaggy. I don't think Brother Shaggy did. I think it was cast appropriately. There were many moments, even like that place where you were talking about, it took the piss out of that guy with the changing of accent all of a sudden. Yeah, that was honestly hilarious to me. I was just laughing. I was just like, yeah. That's the problem with Brother Shaggy, and that's the problem with all the like Instagram comedians. And just to even say that Instagram comedy is most of the popular ones. I'm not saying that Instagram comedy itself is like it's low hanging fruit comedy. Honestly, a lot of it is low hanging fruit comedy, and like it works. It works in the aspect of like if it's an Instagram skit, it's like 2 minutes, it's 3 minutes, but but you're going to elongate it for like a movie. Are you kidding me? That's when people then get to see the the idea of like this thing is low hanging fruit. This thing is not that funny. This thing is just a ridiculous thing that any observation can have.
the more popular like mainstream Instagram comedy. That's what they are. And that's the issue here. That's the issue. Like one of the issues I think there's a difference between the older Nollywood people, like Ikemo Okwo and all that stuff. They're not Instagram comedians. Yes, they do. They had lived. They're not Instagram comedians. They didn't. Their form and the reasons when they learned their comedy did not come with the same incentive as like Instagram comedy. And Instagram comedy is low hanging fruit. And that's the issue with Brother Shaggy. It's directing. Directing has always been an issue in Nigeria because, again, I don't necessarily think actors are sometimes to blame for some of their for some of their decisions. Actors sometimes are not in many movies that I watch. Sometimes it's not the actor. Sometimes it's the director not directing the actor. The director in Nigerian movies do not direct the actors. They do not direct the actors. They get the roles. They don't go cut. Can you redo that again? Do it this way. This is not what I envisioned for this. This is something like all these things. Directors need to be doing that in their movies all the time, and I don't know why they don't do it. It's kind of obvious whenever you watch the movie and like, why is it that you, as a director, you didn't tell the actor, you saw the actor, you saw that thing. Did you look over the footage to see if the footage was good enough for you to put it in the movie? It's that simple. It's that simple. They don't do it. The only question I can say is that whenever I see that, I'm like, oh, maybe you didn't do it. Also, those were some of the bads of this movie. I didn't watch the last 10 minutes of this movie, let me just say. But like, that was my issue with the movie. That's my fundamental issue with the movie. Editing, sorry. Editing was my fundamental issue with the movie. I felt like this movie would have done well if they just cut some places down, right? Bad about this movie. I mean, Cynthia already mentioned it, right? I thought, let me just mention one more thing. That scene where the guy was, where Timinism was bleeding, it was very obvious. It was so obvious that it was, what's it called?
CGI.
CGI. And it was unnecessary CGI.
Very unnecessary.
It was literally unnecessary. I mean, I saw the way the man was pressing it. He was pressing it so to the place where he couldn't have cut that deep. It didn't cut that deep. It was still a surface something, and you could just use practical effect, old Nollywood practical effect for that if you so necessarily needed. Nobody.
I feel like that's not that difficult a practical effect to do.
It wasn't. So that it wasn't. You just get. In fact, we can do it. If you are doing a high school something or doing a what's it called, a YouTube short. In fact, but Akari can do it in his own YouTube things, right? You just get red wine or red something, put it there, and then some. It's that simple. It's not simple. I don't know why they are showing us they have money, but they don't spend money in the place where they need to spend money in. I mean, Cynthia has eviscerated the fact that why did you necessarily have to go get like B-roll shots of some random what's it called, military something.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a difference between the military and the police. But like I said, once they started talking about the governor not taking security details, I was just like, okay, we are going on some crazy nonsense. It's okay. And I don't mind your crazy nonsense. Anything is possible to happen in film. You just have to continue that this is the world you're in.
Yeah.
And most people will forgive the crazy nonsense. Most people will even forgive Brother Shaggy or everything. But what everybody has been saying is that the thing went on too long. Even like the parallel something, right? It took an hour for everybody to come together. It took an hour for everybody to come together. And even at that, like people's motivations weren't even written well and everything. Also, even when we think about the marketing, right? How you market a movie also matters, right? They market this movie as though it was I personally was going into this movie thinking it was a two female cops, going on this something. I did not. There was a bait and switch for me. there was a bait and switch for me. It became somebody crazy. Abbott and Castillo. That's the name I was looking for. Abbott and Castillo something. I was just like, what? What's going on here? Did anybody see the trailer? Because I was like, okay, what's going on here? But anyway, accept the movie as the movie is, right? It's just the overarching plot itself. Didn't mind the overarching plot, right? The governor has been kidnapped, and all these people are brought into contact because of the governor has been kidnapped, right? No problem. You can have the space for, you want to make it a comedy, because it is a comedy. It is going to be ad-libbed. Like the complaints that most people are complaining about, it goes on too long. I have also heard it about like some of Kevin Hart's movies, right? Like he ad-libs a lot. A lot of comedians do ad-lib a lot. The difference, I think, and it's not that I'm looking down on Instagram comedians or I'm looking down on like, Kevin Hart is not an Instagram comedian. He came up through the whole like stand-up comedy training something thing. He came up through that. Even Kevin Hart sometimes annoys me in his movies because I'm like, you're going on a little bit too far, yeah. You know, he came up through that, and and I feel the issue was like, yeah, they should have written a scenario. You just write a scenario, and like you give somebody people improv, you have to give them a scenario. If you give them a scenario, let them improv. And because this is a film and this is not improv on stage, even improv on stage, I have done improv on stage. People change when they realize this thing is going too far, right? You are a movie. Edit your thing down. Edit. It just means, I'm just going to say this. I don't think the director or anybody that was really, the people really in charge of this movie, and I'm not going to talk about your intentions. I'm going to talk about the product that shows how it happens. I don't know their intentions, but you didn't pay attention. You think that, okay, this is a Nigerian something, because I had somebody say, oh, they are doing this for I guess they have their target audience. Even for your target audience, this is a shoddy product. Because there are many things that shows that you didn't clearly pay attention. The devil is in details. There are some people that make mistakes and it's just the details, and then you're like, yeah, it's just the details. But there are some things that are so glaring that are like, you didn't care. You rushed to do this. You rushed to do it and put it out. That's what this movie too does. There's a lot of things I have to say. Yeah, it's rushed to make this movie and put it out, and they do this a lot for Nigeria. They do this a lot for Nigerian Nigerian movies, and you will hear a lot of filmmakers even say it like, "Well, it's Nigeria, it's the market. It's not like we're making it for international." So basically, when they think it's going to be international, they put their stuff together, right? We can see the difference between Blood Sisters, even though Blood Sisters like that, like between Blood Sisters and like I guess Dwindle. You know, they pay a little bit more attention for international audience because you expect that international audience to have like higher level. So does Nigerian audience. Just Nigerian audience have just been supporting you guys. Like the basic things you are not doing. The basic things you're not doing. That scene, everything that Cynthia said, not necessarily about like knowing about medical something, right? Shows that you don't care. Let me correct myself. It's not that you don't care. Shows that you think you can do this much. You can do half of this thing and get away with it. And they do get away with it. Okay, cool. And get away with it. And so when you get the response of people saying it's a shoddy product, it is a shoddy product. It is a shoddy product because you didn't edit. You didn't edit. How do I know that you didn't edit? You let the skit continue to go. There was no cutting. There was literally no cutting of this. You can even see it in Brother Shaggy, right? Whenever Brother Shaggy there were many scenes I saw it in him. He continued to talk. He was like, I have to think about something to say. Because did the director say cut? Stop? Even the director doesn't say that. Did you go into the editing booth with the editor and say, okay, this is going too long. Let's cut it. Let's just cut it. Let's just cut it and make a story out of this.
All right. right. All right. Thanks, Arinka. So yeah, I mean, like, I think there are aspects of that where even more Brother Shaggy dislikes in terms of padding runtime and also going long. I think there's something I noticed in the edit. And I think it's difficult to edit around someone like Brother Shaggy because except if you just told him to follow the lines like Elasticity, because like it's what he does. He goes on these rambles and I think there was a time even when Swanky was delivering lines about like, do you know what school I went, how long went to university for, when he was talking to the governor, and like Brother Shaggy was interjecting in like within those lines, and I don't know. I don't think it feels like that. Those were ad lib lines,
The
and
director,
this was
the
supposed to be
director
funny.
can tell Brother Shaggy to shut
Yeah,
up.
yeah. I know
Again,
what you
so
mean.
that's not an excuse. The excuse is that
Yeah. No, I'm not excusing. I'm not excusing it. I'm supporting. I'm supporting the motion
Shaggy
that
is
like.
executive director, is executive producer. They can't tell him to shut up. I'm telling you people, you won't hear.
Yeah, there's actually an edit also during that scene where I noticed like it just caught in the middle of them speaking. I was like, wow, even the editor is tired of Brother Shaggy's diatribe. It happened twice. I think one was when they were in the car, and one was outside when they're in the governor. It just caught in the middle. It's very awkward, and I guess like this. That's something you have to do whilst directing. While like in production, you can't do that post production. You can't cut around the man. It's very difficult to cut around because like I noticed it twice anyway when it happened. Maybe it happened more and they were able to hide it. All right, okay. Mariah's, tell us some. Mariah, have you said the things you don't like? I know you said spoken.
No.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, please go on.
So the ending, everything wrapped up too conveniently for me. Why in the shootout? In my mind, okay, I don't particularly have any positive thoughts about Oga Landlord, but I don't know why he had to die. Um, but he dies, and then Mama Black Shadow dies, and then Timini dies, and then because Timini is dead, and they say, "Oh, Black Shadow is now John Wick second." Demi Bumwell's character runs, and then if he's John Wick, why does he not hear somebody who's about to give him headshot? Like things just wrap up far too conveniently for me. And it's like for all this dragging out of the plot that we've had, things just really finish quite abruptly. The name Black Shadow bothers me anyway. Like, what other color is a shadow but black? It's kind of redundant. Um, I felt, yeah, who Black Shadow is aside from an assassin. I did have questions like, is he a jack of all trades, a jack of all criminal trades? Because he does the organ harvesting, he does the kidnapping, he's an assassin. It's a mother and son, what like occupation. Okay, fine, but it just felt a little bit like, yes, I'm the bad guy, but yeah, like as people have said, he's supposed to be this very menacing character, but I don't fully understand what he does as hired help. And I guess the organ harvesting kind of took away from that. If it were a bit more vague, I would have had less questions. The political intrigue wasn't fleshed out because when the deputy governor calls and says, "Oh, don't send anyone to come and get the governor," I'm like, okay, is there some corruption? Are we gonna find out what happens with that? Nope, nothing. Okay. Um, and I just had to assume it's because the deputy governor wanted to take the governor's place. I thought that just was another thread that among many that was just left loose. Um, there are films I enjoy. There are films that are good. there are films that are entertaining, and I struggle to put this in any category. I know there are some films where you can laugh, but at the end you're like, what on earth was this? And I struggled to laugh. I felt like, as many people have said, Brother Shaggy just derailed the narrative. And as Mr. C said, you can't cuss around somebody mid-sentence. A lot of the time, people have to react to what Brother Shaggy is doing. So, like, everybody's held captive. The film is held captive to his antics. I I know that as the funny man, he's supposed to be taken in small doses, and I wished he had less to do. I think Elizabeth said this, like with the poster, it was false advertisement because I thought I was getting some kind of buddy cop film, really, the way Bisola and Funke were on the poster. But then I saw another one where Brother Shaggy's in the middle. So okay, he's a central character. I think the tagline was something like a taxi driver, the police, and a missing money bag. They don't even mention the governor. Um, I just there was so much plot in the film and not actually any, I'd say, meaningful story. As I was watching it, I'm like, okay, and what? It didn't feel like things were being moved forward except by jokes I wasn't laughing at. Um, and as Cynthia said, the word dwindle had been grossly misappropriated several times for whatever use um it could be put for. Yeah, I think the thing I'm just that got me so tired with this film was overexposure from Brother Shaggy. Like there's so many films I've seen him in, and he's doing the same thing, and I just wish he'd switch it up because there must be more than this. It's not adding to the film. It doesn't make it any more entertaining. It's not making the story better. Honestly, if they removed his and Spanky's characters, I think it would have been better. Um, if they had Efra's character just be a driver that discovered the governor, that would have been fine. We didn't need the poverty story. Okay, sure, I get it. I understand. They didn't even finish up with the parents and the kidney issue. We were just supposed to assume that was fine. But um, yeah, I really didn't need either of them. When he said, "Oh God, I am your son," I thought, what's this lamentation for? You're not about to start doing monologue. I I struggled with his straight man performance because I wasn't overwhelmed, I wasn't underwhelmed, I was just whelmed with that. Um, yeah,
All right.
I think,
Okay. No, sorry. Go on.
yeah, I think the main thing is just, yeah, it's one of those where it was a bankable face, and they knew people would watch it, so it didn't matter if it was good. People were always going to come to watch. So whether it lacked or it didn't lack, it was always going to get ticket sales.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Mariah. I think some good points there. I also thought, especially because the way it started, I also thought it was going to be a buddy cop film.
Yeah.
They had said Bisola to be a bit like to be the comic relief, and Funkel was supposed to be the straight person. And I thought, oh, okay, yeah, let's go. I buy this. And I was into all of that. And honestly, I know I've only thought about this as long as Mariah was speaking, but I don't see why it couldn't have been that, and we could have not done with. I mean, like I think you can incorporate the rest of the. It's not like they were characterized by that many things. I think you could have given Funke the poverty background, and you could have given Brother Shaggy version to Bisala's. Yeah, it could have. I don't care that like part of it is like it was. I think there's a little part of it where Brother Shaggy is doing drugs, but like I don't care that even if she was a little bit corrupt, it would have probably even made it even funnier. But like I don't know, Brother Shaggy was yeah. We've this is the Brother Shaggy job this evening, but again, thanks Mariah. We'll go Mel, and then we'll go Deal With Me and Esquire. Mel, please tell us the things that you didn't enjoy about Dwindle.
I don't have a lot to say. I don't. Mainly because there's something about I guess maybe the execution of it. Because there's parts where I think that I see something concrete, but it's very short lived oftentimes. So I think I would blame this on execution. So I think that there's something about the execution of it that feels like it's in mockery of me, the audience, an audience member, I guess that is a better way to put it. And so it's very hard to it makes it feel like it's intentionally bad, if that makes any sense. And I think that Mariah touched upon this a little bit, where there was something and somebody somewhere said, oh, they would just take it like that, and it got sent down to us like that. So there's parts of it that feel intentional. So it's very hard for me to like engage with it properly, intentionally, because it feels like something that doesn't want me to engage with it. So that's how I feel. So it's very hard to like, oh, this is what I liked, or this is what I didn't like about it. So I guess it would be one of my first dislikes. But there's something about it that feels intentional and not in a good way. And it just makes it not worth it to try to engage with it in any form. I thought that it was chaotic. I thought that it was hectic at the same time, and I thought that it was so random in how it was choosing to be chaotic and hectic. It felt like we were trying to get somewhere. Elizabeth talked about like a convergence, which never happened, by the way, but all through it, it felt like this is where we were headed. We didn't get there. There wasn't a satisfying plot twist. We're not doing that. I don't know how to describe it, but it felt like we were trying to get somewhere. All of the time that we spend on backstories. Oh, this is he got a job. He lost his job on the same day. He got arrested. Something about school. Oh, something. I went to school for how many years? There's some type of motivation being built for not just him, but also for the police women. It comes in much later on, of course, but there is motivation. There's motivation for Bisola's character. She's been chasing Black Shadow for so long, and something happened in relation to that, and she lost any commitment to her job. So she's just like, it's just vibes now. And same thing with Funke Akindele's character. She's chasing something important, and this backstory is for so it feels like we're going somewhere, which is why someone took the time to create this backstories, but we never really go anywhere. We just go into 1 hour of jokes. I thought it was unnecessarily complicated, and I think that this would be my biggest criticism. Unnecessary, because we don't go anywhere with anything that's set up. So I would have preferred, like, I think that the movie tells us it's just vibes, but it also takes itself seriously in certain cases. There's a lot of social commentary just like sprinkled throughout. I would have preferred just let's be vibes from the beginning to the end. We've referenced old school Nollywood. When you see Osofia and you see Sam Loco show up on your screen, You're not expecting any type of, you're not trying to get your life changed. You're not trying to you're not trying to nod at any dialogue. You're here to have a good time, and you have a good time and you fuck off, right? Same thing with a lot of Akiampoko films. They show up, it vibes from beginning till the end. You have a good time, you fuck off. There's no point where they're like, oh, here's social commentary for you to take as a soundbite. No. Or here is a character that has motivation for this thing. No, they don't, right? It's just be vibes and let's do it. Right? I would have preferred if it was that. So this pieces of something concrete, something going somewhere, just was a little confused. It's part of what added to the hecticness of it, I think. Back to my point about it being unnecessarily complicated. Spanky JK's character has motivations, right? But we spend so much time building up his character that is completely useless at the end of the day. The thing about his parents, thing about showing up at work and losing, why did he get arrested? Why didn't we just, I don't know, start with him being angry? It's perfect, and we save screen time because the movie felt entirely too long, right? It's perfect, we save screen time. Let's just go in, just dive into it. But no, we spend time doing all these things and giving him a relationship that we also never give him time to develop. I don't know. All of the characters, as many of previous speakers have talked about, also like unnecessarily complicated. Because how many people did we need to really tell the story that eventually got told? By the end, we kill half of them because they're inconvenient, right? So what did we do all of this for? I'm not certain how to phrase it anyway. So my final dislike would be that it felt like a mixed mash of everything. The direction of it, the point of it. Here's the truth. There was no point in this movie that I was certain what was happening. At no point was I like, oh, this is exactly what is happening at this point in time. I wasn't certain. I wasn't sure. I was just going along with it. So it felt like all of these things just thrown at me. It felt like cliff notes of like Hollywood cliches. We have the Jameson holding something and somebody accosts him and he throws it up in the air into their faces and runs, cliche. We have the hold it there, gun pointed at you. Oh, now I'm going to start to gloat that I've got you right where I need you. Oh, surprise, surprise, there's someone else with a gun behind you, cliche. We had the I'm chasing after you. Let me bump into this random person's house and they're living life. But I run through their house and I jump out through the window and you've lost me to that cliche. Like it's just like all of this just very random out of nowhere. But everywhere you look, there was some type of Hollywood cliche. And that feels intentional, but I'm not sure what the intention was. It could either be extremely genius or just maybe not, but I don't know. I can't tell you what it was, where it led me to, what it gave me. That's it really. That I wasn't searching about anything. I'm not searching. I know that I didn't enjoy the experience, but I can't tell you much more outside of that. Yeah. No Dwindle.
Thanks, Mel. Yeah, I think that thing with tone is on where it's supposed to be. Is it supposed to be silly, or is it supposed to be like hitting us with not just social commentary? Because I think it's probably possible to do social commentary whilst being silly, but like you can't distract from silliness. Inka sent a tweet saying the social commentary is nice, but from the beginning, the movie told us that it was a silly film that will end in a happy, non-challenging media. And I understand that, yes, because that's almost the same vibe I got, like from the slow motion work that Bisola does and the exaggerated faces from the police people looking at her. and the jazz with the type of editing and the colors that came through. I was like, oh, we're in for a very silly ride. And then we get hit with like really heavy Jidekene swanky like backstory about, oh, his father has liver problem and needs 2 million, and then he gets kicked out of his job and gets arrested. And then we're looking at this the news, and it's I can't remember what the news says, hoodlums, but like it's we're not being silly anymore. We've taken a pause from silliness to deliver you this social commentary that is quite dark. And it's like, all right, movie, if you're gonna do this, you can't show me stock footage of like tanks and helicopters from a different movie. That's silly. Like in a very silly movie, that could actually work as a punchline. But yes, I get that. Also, I think there's something like you've touched on with the Mel touched on with the way Bissola's character is portrayed, and it's interesting that she starts off like as this. She's supposed to have this character that, oh, like I was set out to do this thing. I was all serious, and then I guess like what I think is the social commentary underneath it, Nigeria happens to her. And then she decides to become really shallow, which is hard. It comes off more icky than like other people. Like Nigeria happens to them, and they take life into their hands, and they start going down darker or like less legal routes to become. But like there's still a strive and an ambition. But like Bissell's like, all right, I guess I'm pretty. I guess I'm just. That came off really weird. I think there's a way that could have been done, but I'm not a fan of it. Anyway, Dewumi, did you want to say, I don't know whether you want to say things you like or things you don't like? The floor is yours.
Okay. So when I started watching this movie, the first thing that came to mind was the treatment would be similar to The Gentleman, the movie that had Hugh Grant, where these different sets of people, things are happening, and then at some point everyone's path would cross, and then we'll get this series of different events that make sense. So when I started this movie, I expected that, okay, this is what will happen at some point. The governor would meet Shaggy and his friends, meet Bisola, and it would make sense. And I think I could have forgiven the Shaggy acting. I could have forgiven some other things, but I could not forgive the laziness of connecting different plot lines. And I have just one example and I'll be done. So I don't know how insurance works. At what point you go meet the family of someone who's been kidnapped to tell them there's a policy around their life. Like it did not make sense to me that it's not like this man has died, the governor. He hasn't died yet. So I wasn't sure why the insurance agent is going to tell the son that you're going to get $5 million if your dad dies and we can see a dead body. Like in my head, it feels like she went there to plant the thought in his mind that you need to kill your father. And it didn't seem professional to me. And also took me back to, I think it was Lionheart, the Genevieve movie, where auditors came and I think they were doing a comic relief scene and doing things that auditors would generally not do or say, more to move the story along. It was the same vibe I got with this insurance babe. And I think that just captures all of my issues with this movie, where you're trying to, for lack of a better word, you're trying to contrive a particular thing to happen. And then instead of doing it intelligently, you just take some random thing, fit it in that doesn't make sense, and we're all just supposed to go with it. Like, why would you tell someone that basically you have better to gain if your father dies, even though he's just kidnapped right now? Like it just did not make sense, and it took me out of that movie. And for the rest of the, I think 30 or so minutes I was left, I was just on passive watch, because at that point I just had it with the different bits that were not making sense. So this movie did not do it for me at all. I think it's probably one of the worst Nollywood movies I've seen this year, and the bar was low anyway, but this just went lower.
Wow. Okay. A lot of people having problem with how long this thing, all these different stories taking to connect. That's understandable. I think there's also something about the Timmy. When Timmy has to do a payout at some, he pays Brother Shaggy, does bank transfer for I don't know how many millions, but it's a lot. And I was like, where do you get that money from? Aren't you supposed to be broke? But you know, that's a different story. All right, so let Esquire, the barrister, please give us your thoughts. Esquire, barrister. All right, Mrs. C, it's over to you.
Okay, so I obviously, as everyone here can tell, I did not like this film. I found it kind of upsetting, and I'm trying to evaluate why I disliked it as much as I did, and kind of just pick that apart, because especially with other people's responses to the film as well. And when I look through, if you search it on Twitter, you see almost alternating responses to the film. You see the one who says it was the funniest thing since sliced bread, and then you see 2 or 3 people say it was shit. And that's
sliced bread funny. Go on.
Anyway, that kind of response. I'm like, okay, so it's not a me thing, because at some point I thought if this film had been done by a different director, I wouldn't have found it as offensive. And like, part of my disappointment with the film is that I've seen Ojukokoro, I've seen Knockout Blessing, right? So I had higher expectations for Dwindle, especially because there's been a constant, it seemed like there was like an upward trajectory, right? Like Ojukokoro had its problems, but like there was so much good there. And then Knockout Blessing that came after it was better than Ojukokoro. I'm like, okay, so the next one is going to be even better, because I've seen this happen twice, right? I've seen this happen once, at least one jump. So I think that was part of why I was upset with the film. There's some other directors I refuse to name that would give me this film and I'll be like, yeah, that tracks. Yeah. And also, we've seen so much worse this year. Like, this was the year of Glamour Girls. Was CD2 this year? Did we start this year with CD2? Yeah. Yes. So we had Chief Daddy 2 this year. We've had Glamour Girls this year. We've done Lockdown. We've done Perfect Arrangement. We've had so much worse this year. So much worse. I think part of what I found really upsetting about this film was the premise, right? And I've said that we've had a few things that, the premise is great, but the execution was bad. But like I said, I really enjoy the idea of a film where there are these parallel things happening and they all come together. But while that seemed to be idea, that wasn't exactly what they did, right? Like, we didn't, I don't think we spent like an equal amount of time with the different groups of people. So we started out with Bisola and Funke's character, and I was willing to forgive a lot at that point, right? I thought the jazz was entertaining. I didn't mind it. I saw them shooting at the car while the guy was in there. I'm like, I'm not going to talk about it. Even when they were plotting their escape in the backseat of the car, right when the other policemen were in front of them, I thought, I'm not going to pick on this. I'm just going to let it go. They're going to give us something. And then we move on to these guys. I'm like, okay, these are the second group of people we're going to follow. But we end up spending so much of the runtime with Swanky and Brother Shaggy's character. So much of the runtime. And like I said, I find Shaggy exhausting, right? And we dedicate so much of the wrong time to him. Part of the problem. Second, it's for a film that had so much going on, it managed to bore me, which is really odd. But it was Swanky's character and Shaggy, there was nothing, they didn't have that much excitement to give them most of the runtime, right? Like, the body cop bit seemed more interesting, right? Like, the people who had lost the governor, that's interesting. You've lost a sitting governor, right? They're about to pin this on you. You're on the run and you're trying to find this man. And there was so little we saw them do to actually find this man, right? There was so little they contributed to the finding and rescuing of the governor. It was almost laughable, right? There was almost no points to them whatsoever. They could have cast any two random people there, not Bisola and Funke, and just had them as the police people who lost the governor, and that would have been fine. But they put them in there and then wasted that potential, which was very disappointing. There's so much repetition to what, you know, Swanky and Brother Shaggy were going through and doing. We're like, we get it, your life sucks, right? We get it, you're a deadbeat. I don't even feel bad for you at this point, right? You're low-key useless. So it's like, I'm not interested in these people's shenanigans. I'm not interested in them finding the governor. They're making these decisions that just don't seem to track, right? Like, we have these guys book an Uber for what, right? They get into a Taxify, and then they leave it for what? There's no reason for them to leave it, but they leave it so that the story can move, right? They have these things have to happen, but then you can't make it happen in a way that tracks, right? The money and the governor have to be left in these guys' taxi. Okay, so how do we make sure that it's left in this guy's taxi? The coincidence of them picking up the kidnappers, that works. That makes sense. The kidnappers needing to leave the car, why?
I can't remember. I don't know. Were they having a call or I can't remember. But like, I remember the driver was taking a piss. Swanky was. Yeah,
Swanky was taking a piss.
I can't remember what the other two.
Yeah, the other two left first, and then Swanky went out to take a piss.
Oh,
they stood somewhere.
Yeah, it just seemed like, all right.
Like we saw we saw the Ashoke Bad Bitch cock the gun, and then nothing happens. And then these people leave, and then they come back and the car's gone. Right? It was just things like that just didn't work and didn't make sense. And like, I see no reason why Swanky's character would, you know, agree to abduct a sitting governor, right? You end up with the governor, you're trying to get a reward, right? There was no way they were going to get out of this unscathed, right? Especially when they started mistreating the governor, hitting him over the head, you know, yelling at him, putting him back in the boots. How do you plan on getting away with this? They weren't prepared to kill him. You have to kill him. There was just, anyway, what I'm saying is like, there was so much potential. There was actual potential. The premise could have been so interesting. It could have been good. It really could have been good. And I don't know how it ran away. And I think that was the most upsetting thing for me, was that I saw so much that could make it good. And it just...
All right. Okay. All right. Remember, you can also vote. You can review this on Nolly Data. It's up there. Whilst I get my notes, I've got notes. Okay. There are some things I guess we've talked about. I thought the characterizations weren't always great. So I think with Bisola and Funke, I thought we were going to get that. Bisola was going to be, I can't remember their names. Bisola was going to be this, funny person, always maybe doing the more shallow version. This is from the first 10 minutes, that opening part. And then Funke was going to be like the more strict person. But like, I remember when I was thinking about that car scene, when the seduction, it just irked me that Funke was the one who thought of that. I was like, you've written a character who is about their looks, but who was a serious policeman. Why isn't Bisola the one coming out with this? It's like, so like they do all these things down the line. Like, so later on, I think, actually, I think at some point, maybe Bisola does call back with somebody who is more in a more flirting manner to get some data. I think maybe that's the only thing. But I felt like I should have seen this through their actions and through the way they behave, but it just seemed like they set these characters up and they just forgot about how the people that they had set up. And it's like, you could have swapped each other's roles at some point and it wouldn't have made a difference. And that just, that seemed like a waste of a setup, especially like one that we spent so long like so much of the time is actually spent on looks. If you look, the 10 minutes, so much, and so much is spent on Bisola's like, oh look, like I'm kind of shallow, the slow motion, the police people's reactions, um, uh, they come in and your guy is like, hey, they wanted somebody beautiful. Funke is like, I'm not beautiful. Bisola is like, oh, like all cute. Like so much of it is spent on it. It's like, and it's just, why spend so much time if it's not going to matter anything? It just felt such an odd choice to make. And then just going to touch on some things that I know not a lot of people care about. The lighting in this was really bad. I just okay, let me not say really bad, because it's not bad as in like it stops people from viewing it, but like I don't know why they kept on lighting people from all angles. Like so usually the way things work is you have the sun, or you have a large light point. It's usually the sun. It's usually slanting one way or the other. But like just everywhere these people are lit. You turn, you see the back, they're lit. It's like there's just lights everywhere. It just felt very artificial. There were points where I think the best point of this is when they're in the car. It's like and honestly, it's probably something you'd have to pause to figure out, because I had to pause it. But I only paused it because I was like, something is off about this lighting, and I wanted to be able to articulate it properly. But like, if you look at the top of the car, the top of the car is light source pointing there, or there's a light source from there. And except if they have a white light on top of the big, and it's a big source. Is big source of light as well, pointing down from inside of these cars. I don't know why they would be lit in the way they're lit, but like it was just so distracting to be looking at this kind of things in this movie, and I'm just like, why not? There's just too much fill light that we were seeing shadows from them. Anyway, there's a couple of things people have said, and I've mentioned some of the editing. I think just before Swanky says we're baked, bro, like it's very weird and off-putting. I think the jazz is wasteful, because again, we start off with this fun setup with, oh look, there's jazz in it. Maybe there's going to be a lot of jazz, I guess, or maybe something, but like, I don't even know if you take out the jazz. I'm pretty sure there's other ways this movie could have like it didn't really need. Anyway, jazz felt like a waste. Timmy always makes me uncomfortable in films when he has a woman next to him. I think I might have said this before in the past, because let me put on record, because I think there's a little bit of what Brother Shaggy does where they just keep on going off. It's like ad-libbing, but he does it with his actions. And when he's with a woman, it becomes, there's a point where anyway, I'm not going to say too much on that, but just know that he makes me uncomfortable. I get taken out of it when I see him slap an ass, where I'm like, it doesn't feel like acting. It just feels like Timmy is just being a gross person at this point. Anyway, I'm not saying like he's doing it intentionally to be gross, but like it's a form of ad-libbing that isn't necessary for the part. It doesn't make sense. It's not intended to be there. So when he does things like that, I get weirded out by it, right? Swanky's accent changes from here and there. Actually, there's quite a lot of. I have too many notes. I'm surprised Mel did not mention the credits. The credits was one of the weirdest.
Oh my god, they were so bad.
Credits one of the weirdest. It's like the names were so far apart. Anyway, it's weird that anyone. I guess it's usually just you and I, Mel. But yeah, the credits were kind of bad. All right. I'm gonna give. I think that there's just a couple of people. I'm tired of talking about it. But like, I think everybody has mentioned most of the issues wrong with scripts and things like that of the sort. I'm gonna let Janet and Play speak about this film, and then we can talk about what we're gonna be discussing next week. Spoiler alert: Brother Shaggy's also in it. Janet. Janet, please go on. What did you what were your thoughts on this? I think we're doing the bad at this point. Go on.
Yeah. Well, the movie was like I also found it like it was bad. I won't lie, Brother Shaggy was kind of funny to me sometimes, but apart from that, I found that the movie was very inconsistent. Like I was so tired. I was so confused. Like it seemed like they would put these two characters, like Brother Shaggy and then Swanky, and then they would be like, "Oh, we forgot Funke and Bisola. Let's go back to them. Let's go back to them." So I was like, "Who are we supposed to focus on here? Like, what is going on?" And then with the Nigerian John Wick or whatever, I was so weirded out by him because I just felt like what is in this one. Apart from that, the last part of the movie, I thought that it was going to be redeemable, but like when they killed Funke's character off, I was like, oh, at least they let Funke die, like they let something actually happen. But I was so confused when at the end I saw in the newspaper that she escaped without a scratch, somebody that was on the floor with blood everywhere. I was so confused, like, why did you have to do that? What was the thought process with that? And after watching the movie, I just felt so bad about my life because I left so many things to like try and focus on this movie, and it just gave me nothing. It was really poor. Yeah.
I'm sorry. But it's part of our support in Nollywood. Sometimes we get judged, but we keep moving. Once in a while we get an human fair. So or lost the courage for some. All right. Play. I'm guessing not Charles, but please tell us.
Hi guys. Evening. Well, evening to evening. This movie is actually one of the better Nigerian movies I've seen of the year. I know it's actually horrible, but not as horrible as other ones I've come across recently. But a few things stood out to me that took me out completely. Why is it that even till now we've not found a way to fix using guns and whatnot in Nigerian movies? The sound, the look of the weapons, etc., etc., etc. It still looks cartoonish. You have better sound effects in TikTok videos than you actually do in Nigerian movies. You understand? I don't know why that hasn't been fixed up until now. And I don't know if anyone noticed towards the end of the movie, there was like a green line across the screen, which resembles basically bad editing. And as the person before me was saying, where Funke's character, we clearly saw her dead after the shootout. So when they were announcing that, oh, she was fine, it just screamed to me that they're trying to do a part 2 for this movie. They shouldn't anyway. Or if they're going to do, they should just basically start over again. Another thing that took me out is, why is it that in every Nigerian movie there needs to be a funny character that does nothing but is just there for comic relief? It doesn't work in every movie. It seems to be a new thing that keeps occurring, especially with Brother Shaggy and the rest of these Instagram comedians. It doesn't actually work. And it actually takes you out of the movie, even when you're basically trying to get in the movie. Anyway, I have more things to say, but these are the main things that actually stood out to me and basically wronged me about the movie. Thank you.
Oh,
you're muted.
I was muted. Thank you, Cynthia. All right, I was saying thank you for that. No, I was going to ask you a different question, but like we do a summary at the end, and you can tell us just in general your thoughts, because we're just on the bad. We've done the good section. We're just doing the bad section. Please feel free to review this on Nolly Data. If you can get if you can register as an audience member, it's really quick, a minute or two, just so that we can get it on. Anyway. I'm just going to ramble through just a couple of things that I wrote down, and it's just short points. I think I wrote down here why people surrounding Effa worried about Nkechi, because it started. Effa was, after he comes back from having sex, which lasted God knows how long. The person who, one of the people he asked says it's that says Brother Shaggy, and this guy took the car 2 hours ago, and they had come back and gone. So I don't even know how long that was going on. But when he's asking people about it, everybody was like, "Leave me alone! Like, get out of here! Like, leave me, you crazy person!" And then when he starts calling them, everybody's surrounded him like consent. I'm like, what just happened? Anyway, I put in here, Uzo must have been shot by Angelina Jolie from Wanted. Oh yeah, okay. I think this is the point where no, this is at the end when Uzo has somebody our protagonist Brother Shaggy and what's his name, and Jidekene Swanky in his sights. He's pointing the gun at them, and he's facing them because obviously that's what you do when you want to shoot the people in front of you. And then Bisola comes from the side and shoots him, and it goes straight through the middle of his head like he was facing her. And I was like, I don't know how that worked. Why is Uzo killing Timini for his mother? This wrapping up stuff at the end. I don't know why.
It's like it's just like an occupational hazard. Like, if you're doing this kind of crimes with your mother, you could die.
Yeah, I was like, why is he saying for his mother? Like, what? Yeah, like he didn't. He wasn't the one that killed her.
Ask anyone to kill her. Like,
yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe it's possible that it was because Timini insulted him, his mother. But I was thinking, your mother's dead. I mean, like, maybe. I don't know. It just, that didn't feel right. I also put speaking and whispering like tactics while on speakerphone. I think this is where Brother Shaggy, and I don't know how much of this is Brother Shaggy ad-libbing and stuff. But Brother Shaggy and Swanky are discussing the tactics that they want to use to Timini whilst they're on speakerphone. I'm like, do you not even care about like pretend? Like, move this phone away from your mouth at least, right? Like one of those things. And the other thing I put here is the mannequin joke where what's his name? T by T. Yeah, where Temison hides behind the mannequin. I'm like, I know you saw that in a Hollywood movie. That's not how it's done. That's not how it's shot. This is very silly. Anyway, but yeah, that's the last I think I'm gonna say about this movie. It wasn't my favorite. It wasn't great at all. But next week we have a film that is going to divide. I think Nollywood Film Club, because a couple of our core members I've seen have praised this film. It's called King of Thieves. It's on Prime. It's going to be quite a watch. I can't wait. Yes, we're going to actually have fights. We're not going to go it's bad, or maybe somebody's going to tell me I saw the intention, and I'll ban the person and block for life. All right, but let's do our summaries. Just a quick summary of what you thought of the movie in general. Dewumi, do you want to start?
Sure. I think this movie is similar to many other Nollywood movies in that, personally, I feel it's not well thought out. There's no attention to detail. they put something together based on, again, the word intention, but the final product just speaks to someone not having oversight to sit and say, okay, I'm watching this thing in full and it doesn't make sense from this scene to this scene, these decisions that take place here. And it's just, honestly, it speaks to a lot of new Nollywood movies that I've seen, which is getting me tired because I sound like a grouch because I always have issues with the newer movies that are put out on Netflix and Prime. So that's my summary. It wasn't a very good movie.
Okay. Play. What was your general thoughts about this movie? Just a quick summary. Play, are you there? The connoisseur. Okay. Janet, what was your general thoughts, your summary on the movie, Dwindle?
Yeah, I think it had potential to be something serious or something that could at least be taken seriously, but they just like spoilt that. And yeah, it's just basically a joke, like something you would just watch as a joke if you're bored. So yeah, I don't think it should be taken like seriously, even though it could have been.
Yeah, I am back. Sorry.
All right. Okay. We're just doing summaries. So let me know what you thought of it.
Okay. The movie had real potential, but they followed the usual script of other Nollywood movies that one person got right at some point, but it didn't fit this movie, and with running with that theme, it actually ruined their movie. So it made no sense, and if they're trying to set up for part 2, they shouldn't.
All right. Thanks. Mariah. Mariah, if you could give us your summary if you were there.
Yeah, I'd say poorly planned, poorly executed, far too long, and lacking in, I'd say, gosh, what's even the word I want to use? Direction. I can't recommend it because I can't even really say what it was all an effort for.
All right. Thanks, Mariah. Cynthia, do you want to give us a quick summary?
Oh yeah, so my general thoughts before summary, my general thought about this movie is if I'm watching this movie and they put a gun to my head and they ask me continue watching or we will shoot you or shoot you, I'm going to tell them to shoot me. I'm going to tell them, I'm going to tell them to shoot me so I can face my fate. But in some way, I actually do appreciate that the word dwindle. I mean, like I said, I don't know if dwindle has another meaning, but the literal English meaning of dwindle, which is to reduce or shrink in size, was really the mirror of the entire movie I watched, which also reduced in quality. Oh, and yes, I will not recommend this movie at all.
Okay. Anyika, your summary.
Oh, so my summary. I'm sorry. Is okay? Can you guys hear me well?
Yeah, right now you're good.
Okay. So my summary, in comparison to what almost everybody else has said, I would say I did say that this movie was in the type of movie it is, in the genre that this movie is, right? It is in the mid but lower mid. That it's almost close to saying it's bad, but there was a lot many things, many standalone things that made it okay. That made it like not be in the bad for me, right? So to be fair, it is lower mid. It is lower mid category. It is the execution is not that great, but it's not so bad that it's like, oh my gosh. So, will I recommend this movie if you have nothing better else to do? If you cannot find any other better things to do, there are better lower mid movies out there that you can watch that at least will give you some enjoyment better than this movie. If you don't necessarily have to watch this movie because you're doing a club, you don't watch it. It's okay. Go find other bad movies to watch. That's my summary.
Thanks. Okay. And Mel?
Okay. My summary is that I didn't care for this movie. I don't mind bad movies. In fact, I sometimes seek them out to watch them, and I have a good time. But I did not have a good time with this movie. I didn't care for it. In fact, after our watch party on Friday, I immediately forgot about it. And after today, I would go back to completely forgetting about it. It was not my cup of tea. I didn't think it was a good movie, but again, I don't care enough to think anything about it.
Well, that's very clear. I don't know if Laeska's here. Laeska here. We're doing summaries if you want to say something. If not, Vanessa, please.
Thank you. I want to go and sleep. Oh, the 3 hours that we spent on this film. Summary. If you are the type of person who will enjoy a 2-hour-long Instagram skit starring Brother Shaggy and supported by a host of Nollywood's top, in quotes, actors and actresses, go for it. You will enjoy this. If not, respect yourself, respect your data, and ignore. Go and watch Chief Daddy. In fact, go and watch Chief Daddy too.
Stop it.
No,
Stop it.
Efimile. No.
Stop
Efimile. Let me say why I say they should go and watch Chief Daddy too. Because Beverly Osu was there, and Beverly Osu redeemed that film. So, in fact, go and watch Chief Daddy too. Glamour Girls.
Yes.
Let me finish. Chief Daddy 2, Glamour Girls, Rattlesnake the Anna story, Nneka the Pretty Serpents.
Yes.
Watch those films. Don't watch Dwindle. But then again, if you like Brother Shaggy, in fact, let me give you the perfect for a Brother Shaggy enjoyment. Watch Chief Daddy 2 from when they go to Dubai. Brother Shaggy content straight. Then watch Dwindle for continuation. You will enjoy it. Okay. That's my recommendation. Everybody go and sleep. This film is not worth it.
Right, okay. Very clear. Thanks, Vanessa. Shagu.
Okay. I think I would have said everything Vanessa said, but then again, it's we've agreed, it's a collection of Instagram skits. So it's a collection of extended skits. So it's fine. It works for what it is. If you enjoy watching skits, this is just a longer skit and it's fine. It's okay. I don't watch the skits. I don't really have friends that watch the skits. So recommending it is not even a thing. What I want to just point out is that for as many people that are on this space, if you're into filmmaking, I think what we should start doing is creating new roles within production teams in Nollywood and have people like Mel and Cynthia on that project. No, I'm not even kidding. I'm very afraid to be on the opposing team on a debate if Cynthia is there, because Cynthia has a way of breaking things down and noting things down. Nothing escapes her sight. So, and it's that skill is very, 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 very important with this Nollywood thing. We need somebody that is doing oversights and saying, no. This thing that we're doing cannot work. Let's shoot this part again. And they have that thing. And I think they need to create a role like that if we want the quality of our movies to move forward. That's for that part. And then for this kind of space, I think people will learn stuff, because it's on this space that Mildred said on 2 occasions, I think, I don't know whether it was also on director where she said she has somebody that times her scenes and her dialogue. She has somebody that times it and says, look, we need to wrap this thing up. And, because I think Elizabeth spoke about editing where they don't know how to, they refuse to learn how to cut things. And that, I never really thought about what Mildred said. I never thought about it before. And now with what we are discussing now, it makes a lot of sense. And I think those are the little things that people can take away from this thing that we're doing. So that's pretty much it. So for me, in summary, and okay, yes, and I wanted to add, because people, even after what we've discussed, people will still come out and say, we'll give excuses, maybe excuses about budget constraints and stuff. I'll just give one example, one quick example, where they kidnapped the governor. We can make an excuse for, because I think I've seen places, maybe things like House of Cards, where the president slips away with maybe one or two people. They are top-notch people. So for you to even move the governor or whoever the key person is away, you have to be ingenious about it. You can't just start the person walking and the governor is telling you, no, you people sit back. Doesn't even make sense at all. It's as simple, and it's not even a budget thing. It's as simple as the Black Shadow and somebody have arrived at that hotel earlier on, have checked into the next room, and have somehow cut a hole in the wall or something. Maybe it's a cheap hotel or something, cut something in the hole and waited. When the governor got in, they'll just move him through that hole into the next room, put him on a wheelchair, wrap him all up like somebody is sick, and just walk past the guards. The guards don't even know anything. That's just one very, very, very zero budget way. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, and it's just that's so it's the excuse of budget constraints or time and it doesn't fly anymore. I think we just really need to think, and then when we say think, then again, it's like I said, it looked like a string of skits because there was no continuity, no follow through, and like somebody said something just now where he said we were watching Brother Shaggy for some time and they just remember that let's go back to Funke and Bisola and stuff. So it just looked like they had short, long takes of everybody, long takes of everything, and they just cut what we needed and just pieced it together without following any particular story. That's my own take on it.
All right, thanks. Summary, Elizabeth.
Okay, so I think everybody has said what I would have summarized this movie with, but to just say something short, which is no offense to anybody. So I don't have anything to say apart from saying that your improvs, please, we need the improvs to start getting disciplined, and this is the work of either the director or the editor. So it doesn't matter if you use any form of skit makers, and I feel like this is so unfair considering that Nollywood was built on the back of improvs. These people did not have skits, from Ake and Popo them to maybe the Yoruba actors like Babasue. But one thing they are very good at is that they are very disciplined, because you don't think there is any scene that is unearned or extended, in the sense that there is always they have chemistry with whoever they are improving with, so they are bouncing off each other. It doesn't seem as if one person is still in the scene saying 10,000 words while the other person gets only 3 words in. I feel like that is so bad. So now this is new age, and even as at that time we're still complaining that the improv guys did not use scripts. And so we were like, they didn't use scripts when they did theirs. But even at that, they were disciplined. Now that we have all the tech in the world, the directors, the this, that, the least we can do is that get your improv to even practice their own improv. They know what they want to say. Let them, not that they will just get on the scene and just start improving, and then nobody in the editing room had the good sense to cut them short while at it, instead of extending scenes and getting everybody tired. Anyways, I did not finish this film, so I would not ask somebody else to finish the movie. I left it at 1 hour mark. Nothing else was happening. The story wasn't moving anywhere. There was just motion, no movement, so I left it. So don't watch it, guys. I'm begging you. Bye.
All right. Okay. Another DNF. Mrs. C, what did you think of this film in summary?
In summary, I think it had potential that was very badly wasted, and I wouldn't have finished it if I didn't have to.
Okay. All right. My summary is: I think this film feels like getting one of the world best um, street football players and putting them in the Premiership. And and okay, that's a footballing analogy that I imagine some of the others don't understand. But like street football and Premiership football are not the same thing. You can be the best at it, and Brother Shaggy is probably one of our best um, skid makers. I guess debatable, but he's very good in that department. And the vehicle he's in is this very fleshed out, nuanced, complex story. And this is just not the place for all of the ad libs that he did. Um, that mixed with Swanky being sort of bad at his role just made a lot of this a lot of the meat of the story too boring for me. Um, yes, this. I'm not going to say the dreaded word of I see the intention, but um, this could have been better if we had our Lionel Messi, Mbappe inside this pitch and not you guys. I don't know any street footballer name, but you can pick. But yeah, I just didn't enjoy that aspect of it. It really it tired me out so much. I would still recommend. I just like to recommend things that hurt people sometimes. Bear in mind, I'm not saying you enjoy it, but I think there are things that can be enjoyed. And if you're a Brother Shaggy person, I definitely would recommend. There's so much Brother Shaggy in here. You'll love it. You love it so much, Brother Shaggy has not Brother Shaggy did this hard since Brother Shaggy made since Brother Shaggy had a YouTube page. So I guess do that. This I don't think I'm going to be visiting this one again anytime soon. It also worries because worries me for the future of the the Kaede and Derek partner, because I know they've got a couple more. They've got quite a lot of projects in the works, but maybe it's going to get better. But this wasn't it for me. Anyway, that being said, next week we are doing King of Thieves. That's out right now, so you can go watch it. Some people. Yeah, of course. We're gonna have a watch party at some point. I'll let you guys know when we have time. King of Thieves is out right now on Prime. Have a watch, and we'll come and discuss this next Sunday, and then the Sunday after that, Collision Course, which I have been told is exciting. Exciting. We'll give a couple of films a run for their money. All right. But until next time, thanks to all of our speakers. You guys are amazing. Welcome, Durami and Janet, for being. You guys aren't new, but joining the club small. We'll catch up next week. Thanks everybody, and stay safe. Wish you all the best. Keep watching Nollywood. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the episode. If you enjoyed listening and would like to join live, just follow us on Twitter at Iroko Critic and join us every Sunday 6 p.m. West African time on our spaces.